from a company like you. So you tell me what is reasonable. And I said, here's a suggestion. I said, minimum is 12 hours, otherwise it's not even worth it. So I said, we can have 12 hours and I can see both of them separately. And I can see 12 hours on one Saturday and then 12 hours on the next Saturday. And they both would have completed in 2 weeks. And she says, go for it. And so that's how we got UPS. This story is important because right now, when you finish this class, you should contact and start looking on the internet for locations of HR managers just from UPS and began marketing with help, for example, of Raj to UPS regarding your program. This is after you've established your website and so on. Are the questions so far just about that paragraph? Okay, then Raj, take us to group facilitation. It's on the same page 4, so they can see it. Mine is covered. Can everyone see the screen?
Yeah. Could you please repeat the page number, George?
4. Group facilitation. It's covered, and so I can't see whether you, okay. Maybe you have a different version, but that's okay. Stick with the, can you make it possible so I can see it? The anger management facilitators guide, the introduction, go to the next paragraph after introduction. Oh, I see. We're on page number 4.
Okay, this is page number 4. This is
okay. Okay, the program, keep going. Now, okay, that's it. Group facilitation is what I want. I'm sorry, right? The group. Okay, okay, the group facilitation. Back down a little bit. The problem is that I can't see it because it's covered by something else.
Okay, well, let me make sure that you will be able to see that.
What I see, it says, yeah, the host, yeah.
Okay, so okay, can you see now?
No, that's okay. Can they see it? Can all of you see group facilitation?
Diane or Lisa? Okay, Diane gave me a thumbs up, which is
okay. Lisa, can you see group facilitation?
Lisa.
Okay, she can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go with group facilitation. This training program is intended to help participants understand how to effectively teach skills to enhance emotional intelligence, improve communication, and improve stress management and anger management skills. In addition, information regarding the establishment and maintenance of an anger management practice will be explored. Excuse me. The facilitation skills practiced in this training program will be useful to anyone if used over time, under supervision, or with consultation. Teachers, counselors, and correctional staff can use this model effectively, as can tutors in the literacy programs and group home staff. You don't have to be an expert facilitator yourself to conduct this program. Each group can and should serve as a learning experience that increases the competency of the leader. Group facilitation can be thought of as a process aimed at helping clients to better understand their own and other people's behavior. In anger management, the process may be concerned with communication, anger, stress, or emotional intelligence. Progress in mastering these concepts is closely related to the development of mutual respect, trust, and acceptance, as opposed to aggressive interpersonal interaction. It is the responsibility of the facilitator to model this emotionally intelligent behavior necessary to establish a well-functioning, cohesive group. The effective facilitator keeps the group focused on the task of the day. He or she guides group discussion by focusing on the workbook content, deferring the group from unrelated issues. Prior to the end of each session, the facilitator should ask for questions to summarize the session and gives the assignment for the next meeting. If no assignment is given, the participants should be reminded to keep a stress or anger log and be prepared to share this information in the next class. Now, on the next page, 5, there should be an attendance sheet. You don't have to use this, but for this particular training, we try to include everything that you need for your anger management group to get you started. So if you're just starting, I suggest that you simply copy and put the names of your organization on it, the attendance sheet. The reason is you don't want a client to come to class and say, how many more sessions do I have? Because it's a waste of group time. And it's also a diversion tactic in which they use that as a way of manipulating. Are there questions, anything that I've asked or said so far? Diane?
Not yet, no.
Okay. And
No,
so,
sir.
go ahead.
No, I don't
Okay.
have any questions. Thank you.
Okay. On the next page is another simple sample, of an authorization form. And so that keep in mind, when people are mandated, like whether they're coming from the court, probation, parole, children's services, it doesn't matter. If they're mandated, you have to have them sign something like this. It's called an authorization for release. The reason is, in order for the person who referred you to get information back regarding whether or not they're attending, paying their fees, cooperating, and so on, there has to be something in writing in your file that shows that you have permission to do that. Does that make sense, Diane?
Yes.
Okay. So there again, just make a copy of this and use this as a guide for you. Next, Diane, I want you to read until you get tired, the next 2 pages, and that's on 6, size and composition of the group, and 7, which will take you down to group content, and then I'll take over again. Go ahead.
Okay. Size and composition. The most manageable size for an anger management group is 12 to 15. However, it is sometimes necessary to lead groups larger than 15. Large groups are more likely to occur in settings like prisons, juvenile halls, and overcrowded public schools. If faced with the prospects of leading a large group, it's important that the group rules are rigidly followed. The facilitator must also assume a more teacher-like, class-like focus. When possible, it is wise to use an intern or co-leader to assist in the group. 2 facilitators are more effective in groups larger than 15. For teens, the age of the client should be as possible. For example, middle school students should be seen in groups comprised only of middle school students. High school students should be seen in separate groups. It is not workable to place a 13-year-old in a group with a 17-year-old. The developmental issues being addressed are too different. Physical setting. The physical setting is less important than the climate produced by the leader. Participants can be seated around a table or in a circle, or a simple circle. No barriers should be placed between the facilitator and the group. In any case, the members should be able to see each other, and there should be no authority implied by the seating arrangements, such as having a leader seated at the head of the table or behind the desk. To the extent possible, respect should be demonstrated to the group members by providing a meeting place that shows seriousness and care. Posters containing the contrasting wheels of behavior are excellent as framed wall hangings. Each classroom should contain a combination VHS TV monitor as well as a chalkboard.
Okay, hold on for just a second. Staying with what we were just covering, what happened was we had the pandemic and everything changed regarding these types of services worldwide. So now what everyone is doing, and you will do the same, is offer your classes the way I'm offering this training virtually. And so that means that instead of having only clients from New Jersey, you can have clients from anywhere. It doesn't matter as long as the organization or the person is interested in taking your class, and it can be convenient for them. For example, I'm now 85, and the largest contract that I've ever had, single, I got during the COVID, and that was providing executive coaching for physicians at one medical school and 10 hospitals in Saudi Arabia. And of course, all that is done virtually via Zoom. So the next thing that I would tell you is that this is something that has never been done before, which is decide to use emotional intelligence as a theoretical base for anger management. And so that, did each of you receive a copy of a little card that's blue on one side and red on the other side? It's called Contrasting Rules of Behavior. Diane?
Yes, I have it.
Okay, and Lisa, you have it also?
Yes, I'm looking for it now.
Okay, so this is what we're going to do. It's going to be a little difficult, Raj, but now what I need you to do is, do you have access also to the content of either of the client workbooks?
Yeah, I can search for it, George. It should be in here, I guess.
It may be, and so that what may be easier is, let's go with the adult one. It's called Controlling Ourselves.
Okay. So controlling ourselves, gaining controlling of ourselves.
Well, if you're going to do gaining control, that's okay. I'll get that one. That's the adolescent. It's fine. Hold on.
Okay, I'm lost, y'all. Can y'all help me? Where we at?
Yeah, Lisa, we are just trying to load gaining control of ourselves.
Is that on the card he was just talking about?
It's a book. And
Oh,
so
it's
that,
a book. Okay.
yeah,
So let me
it's a
look at the
one.
book.
So one book would be Gaining
Okay, I
Control
got
of
it.
Ourselves, which is an adult book. Why don't we do that?
Okay.
The reason
I
is
got
that I'm
that.
going to show you how that is used, because it's very important.
Yeah, George, Donna says in the chat window that she doesn't have a copy of any of these materials. Are we sending an email or are we sending a link for her?
Donna didn't sign up until yesterday, so she doesn't have anything, because she and I discussed this on phone, was sending all the material to her, but it wasn't feasible or possible.
Okay. Donna, at the moment, you will
Yes,
have-
hello, everybody. No, I understand that, but I'm just I was just, whoever was
Okay.
needed to know that. That's why I said that. But no, I understand. I have nothing. That's why I came to my sister's this morning and I'm late because of traffic, because she has the book that you told me I need it. And
Yeah.
I'm here with the book now.
Oh,
But
okay.
that's the
So
only
the
thing I
book that
have.
you
I
have
have
is,
no other materials. I have nothing else. You said that you were going to mail all that to me.
I'm
Yeah.
going to, as I promised. So what
Yes,
I'd like
okay.
for you to do then.
Just
would
wanted
you-
to, you did explain that to me. Yes, you did.
Okay, then. So Raj, if you have the book, I'd like for you to turn to page number, 10.
Okay, page number 10. One moment.
Okay.
Okay, so this is. Okay, these two. It's page number 5.
Page number 10.
Yeah, just bear with me, George. It's almost.
You know, I'm not in a hurry. Well, I am always in a hurry. It's a problem that I have.
Okay, this is
That's
the
it, I like it.
constructive
That's it.
interaction, the positive wheel, page number 10. Yeah.
Yeah, sit with that. Okay, then. And so here's what I want to explain to each of you. This was developed by Anderson and Anderson. And so that on the first page is called Positive Wheel. And at the top, it says, the wheels which appear below are the anchors to this anger management workbook. They can and should be referred to when focusing on or practicing positive skills of interaction. They are also a quick reference for recognizing styles of interaction. They're also a quick reference for recognizing styles of speaking, aggressive behavior, and habit patterns, which make healthy relationships difficult. Tools for increasing emotional intelligence must be incorporated in mastering the spokes on the positive wheel. Each participant's control log will be analyzed by the group or the coach during the first or second session. These wheels will also be used in many ways throughout the program. So on the positive wheel, I'd like for anyone who can see it just to read out, starting with active listening and going around what is listed. Donna, can you see it?
Yes. What did you want us to do, to read it?
Yeah.
I see
Out
it.
loud?
In fact, I got a more interesting way of doing it. Donna, each one after you read, starting with active listening, you pause and then let me give you the definition.
Okay,
Got that? So
Active-
start.
active listening.
Okay, so don't do it now, but know that in your book, on page 14, it says active listening, listening with both your heart
Page.
and your head. Don't have to go there right now. You got the book, or you will have the book.
Yes, I have the
So
book.
what does listening with your heart and head means? It means as you're listening, you're trying to discern how is she or he feeling while he or she is speaking. For example, this is a real example. I had a patient, a doctor from Alaska. All of our sessions was before we had Zoom. They were by phone. And so I'm meeting with the doctor and something didn't seem right. I said, "Doctor, have you been drinking?" That was a long pause. And he says, "Yes." And I said, "Well, I'm going to have to refer you to Betty Ford. Betty Ford is a substance abuse treatment program primarily for super professionals, most especially physicians. It's based in Palm Springs." So I said, "I can't be useful to you at all if you're still drinking." And so this is it. So he had to go to Betty Ford. But what did I do? I used my skills to say something is wrong here. It didn't feel right. Okay, that was with my heart. Okay, so go to the next one.
Can I do the next one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Focusing.
Yeah, keeping the conversation of the topic of the moment. So you don't move around, you stick with it. If you ask a group of question and you says, "Oh, focusing," they can say whatever they want, but you bring them right back. That's not focusing. Let's stick with focusing. Okay, go to the next one.
Is that page 14?
We're sticking with the same thing, yeah. We're just going through the
Okay.
list. Now,
Okay.
I'm on page
I'm on a
14,
wheel.
but I
Yeah,
want
I'm
you
on a
guys,
wheel. Yeah, I'm on page 10. Okay.
so go to the next one.
Seeking
Compromise.
compromise.
Okay. Using empathy and common sense to try and meet the other person halfway in order to achieve a win for both parties. Keep in mind, this is not just random stuff. This is what we want to teach the people to do in the class. Okay, so the next one.
Rephrasing.
Yeah. Rephrasing, attempting to clarify what has been said and repeating in your own words what you understand is intended by the speaker. Go to the next one.
Rephrasing.
We just did rephrasing.
Attempting to clarify what has been said by repeating in your own words what you understand is intended by the listener. Go ahead.
Honest feedback.
Yes. Simply letting the speaker know how you feel and think about what has been said. Next.
Expressing feelings.
Sharing with the speaker what feeling is triggered by his or her comments. Next, we're only going to do two.
Stating needs.
Using simply a brief statement to let the speaker know what you need from him or her. Last one.
Assertiveness.
Consistently saying what you mean and meaning what you say with respect and empathy to the listener. So now let me go right away. I don't know whether we're with our outline or not, but it's logical. And so I'm going to do it and we can come back to any of the other material. So here's what I'd like for Raj to do is sticking with the same book, Raj. I want you to go to, let's see. So hold on for a second. Okay. Page number 16.
Okay.
Excuse me, Mr. Anderson.
Go ahead.
It's me, Donna. I have a question. I know I came in a little late, but this wheel that you're showing us, this book this is a book that is for not only personal, but what we would use in conducting a class.
Oh yeah, no, I don't mind repeating any of the things that I've said. So first of all, one of the unique things about what we do and why we have been so successful is that we learned from the research that we did in writing these books that in order to be effective, you have to have all of your material in a book and everyone had to use the book. And so it's like, I don't know anything about religion at all, but it's my understanding is that people who believe in religion study the Bible if it's Christianity. And so that this is like the Bible. If there's no Bible, then we're wasting our time. And so that's one thing. Secondly, we start off with the assessment. And so that in order to determine whether something works or either whether anger management is working or not, that's what the judges like. And that's what people who pay bills like. Does it work? How do you know? So what you do is that once you take the initial assessment, when the person completes the class, to take the same identical assessment again, and then you look at the scores. Now, what it is that you're doing is called evidence-based. So that's a long answer to your question. Not only do you have to use this, but let's assume that you were providing anger management for a school district. They wouldn't trust that you were doing the right things. They would have you lead the class after school, at school, and they will see everybody has a workbook. So if a student forgets his or her workbook, you loan them one that day. But if they lose the workbook, then the school has to buy another one, right? But so let me give you a live example. I got a call from a public defender. A public defender is an attorney who, for people who go to court and they don't have an attorney or the ability to pay, the court will appoint an attorney to represent you. And so that a public defender called and she said, Anderson, it's my understanding that everyone who comes to classes that are mandated in LA County use your workbooks. Is that correct? And I said, yes. And she said, I have a complaint. And I said, go ahead. She says, I referred a client to one of your programs, and I'll give you the name of it. And I said, yeah, that's important. And she says, not only do they not use your workbook, they don't use any workbooks at all. And so that, Donna, what do you think I did, George Anderson?
You called them up and gave them an earful?
Of course I call them up. Anyway, I won't cheat. I called them up and I said to them, I just got off the phone with a public defender from Los Angeles court. And she said, not only do you not use my books, you don't use any books. And I said, guess what? I'm removing your name from the list at my expense. And as long as I'm the vendor, you will never provide services in LA County again. What do you think, Donna? Am I a good person?
I would say you were doing your job.
Okay, that's all I care about. I'm doing my job. Okay, so this is something I tell you. So we're now on page number 16 in the adult client workbook. And so here's what I have to tell you. I mentioned it before, but I'm making more sense of it now. Anytime a person is mandated by a judge, there's something called a minute order. It's one page, and it tells you what the penal code is in terms of the offense. And then it tells you what the order is, which means the judge doesn't just say to a person, you got to go to anger management. He is more precise, or she, than that. And so that you have to you have to make a copy of it, and it has to be placed in the person's file. So you don't even think about it. You make a copy of it. And so that if the judge does not say the number of sessions to attend, it's automatically 1 year. And so if someone says, the judge just said that I had to go, so I don't have to go but one time, you are nicer than I am, but you say bullshit. That's what I say. It doesn't work that way. If the judge wants you to come one time, I'm sending you right back to the judge right now, and you tell him he has to put that in writing. You get it? And so that minute order determines what the judge actually ordered. It's not informal. So let's assume that you're from UPS. The same person who made me those 2 referrals from UPS. I says, ma'am, you know, by law, I have to have you send me something in writing, and you have to tell me that these people are being mandated. And since you and I have already agreed that we're going to do 12 sessions, then that's what is included by you. It has to be in the file. Because at any point, if the file is subpoenaed for whatever reason, there is a record and it has material in it. So what I have now is on page number 16, a sample of real human beings who were ordered to attend anger management. And I saw them myself. So that is nothing that I made up. You ask me any question that you want about the ones that we're going to select, and we obviously can't go over all of them. But Raj, the problem is it's 10 o'clock, so should I give you guys a break now for 10 minutes? Or should I do one of these and then come back for 10 minutes?
Do one and then come back.
Oh, I like that. Who's that speaking?
Donna.
Donna, you know one thing? I figured it out. I believe you're gonna buy Anderson & Anderson, but you're gonna have to work with Rod.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Okay. And so, Raj, don't you cheat. I want you to read at the top where it says sample control log entries on page number 16. Is Raj still there?
Yes, George. Page number 16.
Yeah.
So should I go ahead with the sample control?
Yeah. No, don't read the example. Read what comes before the example first.
Okay, the case vignettes.
Yeah.
Do you want me to read the part which says
The
case
whole
vignettes
thing
below?
plus the example.
Am I reading it right? The case vignettes below provide an excellent way to master the spokes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll start over again. Sorry, Donna. Diane,
No problem.
page number 16, Lisa. So the case vignettes below provide an excellent way to master the spokes on the contrasting wheels of behavior. Practice in relating these stories to the spokes on the wheels will serve to help you recognize when you are exhibiting any of the behaviors that are impediments to positive interpersonal relationships. Further, it will help you to make the spokes on the positive wheel a regular part of your behavior. Please use your own emotional intelligence assessments results to assist you in understanding how EQ relates to impulse control.
Okay, so now you see in that example, we're starting off by letting you know that we don't just do things. And so we say, we want you to think about your own results so that it comes alive when you can see how it is related to everyone who comes to our program. So Raj, I think I want to read this next one because this is one of my favorite ones.
Okay.
First of all, and I'll tell you the story. This man lives in Westwood. Westwood is where UCLA is. And so for my friend in New Jersey, Lisa, Westwood is located in a very exclusive community. And so that to the north of Westwood is Bel Air, to the east of Westwood is Beverly Hills, to the south of West Los Angeles, and to the west is Brentwood. And so it's like zillionaires everywhere you look. Okay. So this guy, you know, right away is unfortunately, no, I shouldn't say it that way. Anyway, this guy is successful, or he wouldn't be able to live there. So I'm going to read it. Situation 1. I drive 40 miles each way to work on the worst freeway in the state, the 405. My job is very stressful. I have been stressed a lot over the last 2 years. One night I became angry with my daughter and smashed the monitor of our computer. My wife panicked and demanded that I go for anger management. Beliefs. I simply can't justify my action. I am stressed to the max. Feelings. I don't even think the issue is my daughter. I was frustrated over the bind that I am in. I have a high income. I don't want to move and I hate to drive. Cost of anger. Respect for myself. Past violence. None. Alternatives. I should have told my daughter that I was in a bad mood and need her to do what I'm asked. Okay? So now I want you to go back to the wheel, page now on number 11, right? That's the negative wheel. And it says at the top, this negative wheel helps link the different behaviors and form a pattern of communication, miscommunication. It shows the relationship as a whole and how each seemingly unrelated behavior is an important part of an overall effort to dominate a situation or someone else. And so that now what I ask anyone, just answer. on the positive wheel, start anywhere you want, and let me know which one of these folks are, and it could be many of them, but do one at a time, or maybe I'll do it differently. Is there any evidence that hostility was exhibited by this man? Anyone?
Yes,
Okay, give the example.
he smashed
sure.
her computer monitor.
Are you still speaking?
Hello, can you hear me?
No, please. Go ahead.
You said, did he give an example?
Yeah, we're sticking with this guy. Show me how he used hostility, or how hostility was seen.
By smashing her computer monitor?
Yeah. So, okay, what about rage?
Yeah.
Aha. And you're laughing, why?
Because when you're in a rage, you want to smash stuff.
Yeah. But let me ask you something. What happens to your brain when you're in this fit of rage?
I'm sorry, what happens to what?
To your brain, can you think clearly?
No.
Okay, who else would help me out now? Did anyone, Lisa, do you see avoidance, interrupting, manipulation, controlling, intimidation, or inattention? Any of those? Can Lisa hear
Nope.
me?
What page y'all on?
Okay, we're on page number 11,
Oh, y'all went back. Oh, okay.
but we were talking about the same guy. And I had read to you, he smashed his daughter's monitor, and he said that he was stressed to the max. So we were trying to figure out, how did it become a problem for him? And it became a problem for him because he smashed his computer. And by the way, it wasn't the police who called. He wasn't mandated by anyone except his wife. And I'll tell you guys a story. In fact, I'll tell you now because I'm going to forget it. Have either of you guys heard of a famous guy who was a musician? His name was Lou Rawls.
Yes.
Yes.
He was one of my clients.
He was
his
one of my
wife
favorites.
said, wait a minute. His wife said, you either go to anger management or I'm out of here. And if I leave, I'm going to take everything I can get. Anyway, I don't know why I thought of
That's
that.
manipulation.
He's dead, so it's not confidential. Okay. We
No, I
also,
said manipulation. I was thinking about the story you read.
okay, that's good. Okay, in the interest of time, what I will do is tell you what else happened to this particular case, and then we'll take a break. One,
I have a question.
go ahead.
I don't know the young lady that spoke, but where would the manipulation be? From the wife's part?
Yes.
No. Our client is always a person who is mandated to come. His wife, I never saw her.
No. She, the young lady that spoke, because she said she saw the manipulation, but would that be considered manipulation if the wife gave him an ultimatum?
No, the answer is no,
Oh,
because
no.
she's not the subject of our group.
No, I understand, but she said that the wife was, I'm just trying to understand.
Oh, I see
The
what you're
story, the
I
story
didn't
that you read,
catch
the first story that
I
you read.
didn't catch that.
Eh,
And so that was the mistake on my part of not saying the wife is not in the program. And so that she may be manipulating, but that's not how this is to be used.
Okay.
In other words, by her giving him the ultimatum, it's not a trait of manipulation. It's an ultimatum. Either you do what you should do, or you're out. Right?
You could say that. Yeah, I was just telling you what I was trying to do.
Okay, let's go back to your subject.
Most people who come to anger management are mandated by some organization. HR is what I said, or courts, or children's services, or probation, parole, and so on. In this particular case, it was just a family. And it's the same thing. I saw a young guy whose mother is a judge and his dad is an attorney. So her son didn't get in trouble. But the judge called me herself because she was aware of what I did. And she said, I need you to help my son. And she said, he is so aggressive. He's a football player. But even the kids at school say that he never lets up. I mean, he's aggressive and difficult all the time. And my husband and I want him help. And so that's all I was saying, is that this was an atypical kind of referral. The other thing that I haven't made clear is that the very first meeting that we have with each client, we have them fill out what's called a control log. And I'll show you one later, but the control log asks these questions. It's on page number 9. And the questions are: briefly describe the incident that resulted in your referral to the program. This is what you asked the client. What did you want to have in the situation, right? And so the guy explained to us, what did he explain again? If you look at what actually happened, I can't find it quickly, but in any case, he explained it, right? And then it says, what caused you to think your actions would get the results you wanted? What feelings were you having? Did you attempt to make light of your role in the situation? Did you attempt to blame someone or something else? What was the impact of your action on you, on others? Did any past explosive incidents, violence, or aggression on your part affect this situation? What could you have done differently? Does that make sense? Everything is really tightly looked at in this model. So we don't sit around and chat. Every second is meaningful. Okay. So this is what happened. After the guy, which is what we do all the time, every time there's a new person coming to the class, we start off by introducing not him or her, but you go around the room and everyone introduces him or herself. And then the new person goes last. And in introducing himself, he actually reads his control log. And while he's reading it, the class is looking at the negative wheel and the positive wheel. And so that in this particular case, that's what we did with this guy. And then I said to him, have you ever, I said, who do you report to? He says, I'm the vice president. I report to the president. He says, I work for an advertising agency. Whoa, is what I said. And so I said, have you told the president that the commute was a problem for you? His answer: everyone knows that I live in Westwood. Everyone knows I'm not moving to Orange County. Everyone knows I hate to drive. So I'm asking all of you, did he answer my question?
No.
Of course not. And so I said, I would like to give you an assignment. I would like for you to look at page number, whatever it is, to the left, 10. And I'd like for you to use assertive communication to state your needs and select anything else that you want in your conversation with the president. And you report back to us next week. The guy comes back the next week, he raises his hand, and he said, I feel like an idiot. And I said, oh. He says, I met with the president, and I said, Bob, this drive is killing me. And he says, the president says, oh, you don't have to come every day. You can telecommute 3 days and, excuse me, 2 days and work from home. And he said, and you don't have to come at 9. You can come at 11 and you can leave at 3. Guess what I said? Sir, you are an idiot. You see how easy that was? What happened? Raj, can anybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I mean, he was sharing the kind of feelings which probably he was correlating to his boss.
Okay, but what he used was assertive communication. But the point was, had he been assertive years before, he could have gotten what he was asking for then, don't you think?
Yes.
Anyway, if you're in a nonprofit you may think that you lost a client and you don't care because he's not profit anyway, right? Because we had solved his problem, didn't we?
Yes.
But he was paying me, and so I said, oh my goodness, he's probably not coming back. But he did. He came back and he's one of the best students that I had. So any questions so far on anything that we've covered? Because I'm gonna give you
No.
this. Huh?
No,
Okay, take a 10-minute break.
Yeah, sure. Let's take a break. Diane or Donna, I request you to please stay logged in. You can continue staying in the mute. I see that Lisa had logged out or dropped. Probably she might be on a break, or I don't know what happened, but Lisa, okay, she's back. Okay, let me admit her. Probably she changed the device. We'll let Lisa know that we're taking a 10-minute break.
Okay, thank Raj for being so patient. I'm intimidated with mechanical things. And so I got a funny story to tell you. I grew up in a very large family. I had 5 brothers and 3 sisters, and I'm the youngest. And my father owned a construction company. And so that he used to specialize during World War II, building military barracks all over the United States. And then he later built churches, but he always built some houses. But so all of my 4 brothers were able to do anything that a carpenter, an electrician, or a plumber, a builder could do. I could not do anything. So at about 11 o'clock every day, when I was trying to work with my dad, he said, you better go to college. I said, you're not gonna be able to make it. So I still can't do anything.
Yeah, so typically I'm glad that you are smarter than other brothers who are doing regular work in the construction industry. Lisa, thank you for joining us back in. We are just taking a quick 10-minute break. So Diane and Donna are already on break. So if you are listening to us, Lisa,
Okay,
yeah, please take a
okay,
10-minute coffee break and
thank you.
back after 10 minutes. I request you to please stay logged in. You can be in mute. And we would
Okay,
also send the material to Donna as promised by George. And you'll have a copy of this recording as well. We just spoke about an example of the negative wheel or the rage, which was on page 16. But we will revise the little things which you missed. So I'll see you back in another 8 minutes or 9 minutes, George.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you. Please stay logged in, George. You can just leave the computer like that. Probably you can also get the cable, the power cable. The battery is 56%. So just get the laptop's power adapter.
No, I'm not gonna leave the laptop just, oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, plug it up.
Yeah, plug it in.
Yeah, I'll do that right now. Yeah. Hi, hello. It's George Anderson. I'm doing good. You know, this is my training day. No. We're taking a break. So I wanted to get from you. Ah. Whoa. Huh? Mhm. Yeah, I think that would be really good. We're having a training right now, so this is the first day. Yeah.
George, you need to mute yourself.
Okay.
Okay, sorry about that. George, I muted you. That's absolutely fine. You can continue your phone conversation. Sorry about that. I just muted you. That should be fine. I mean, you're on mute. We still have 6 more minutes. You're on mute. I can't hear you. Oh, sorry. I mean, if you're speaking, you please hit unmute again.
Yeah, okay, so first of all, let me start off with any questions. And are you comfortable, all of you, with the format, the way I train, which I realize is very different? But does it make sense? Is it easy to follow?
Pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm catching up.
You got to
Uh,
understand, Mr. Anderson. I'm new to this, but for the most part, yes, it's pretty understandable. So far.
Okay. Okay. And so you can stop me at any point along the way and ask questions or a rationale or whatever it is that you want. It's fine with me.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And so what I would like to do then is give you more information. This time on page number 12 and 13. And all I'm going to tell you is that if you follow the way we're doing this, we start off on page number 12 and 13 with a new person, the person who just came in. One of his or her first assignment is to, one, do the control log, which is on page number 9, right? Which I just went through before we left. And then I said, it's finished number 9. And then he's going to read that to the group at his first meeting. And then I want you for the next session to answer the questions on 12 and 13. So what it is it's the same material, but instead of following the definitions that I personally gave for active listening, focusing, and so on, we say define these terms in your own words. Can anyone see why that's valuable for anyone to write something in your own words? Donna?
Okay, so you want me to explain
question.
why it's important?
Yeah.
Okay. In my opinion, I guess it kind of tells you you're able to actually see on paper. It helps you think and kind of analyze yourself a little better.
Absolutely, and it helps you remember it because you wrote it down. So it's like when you're forming the letters in your writing, you're embedding it a bit in the brain. And so that I have an investment in the people gaining. And so one of the things that my wife and I have said for years, it's impossible for someone to sit in an anger management class using this material. If you sit in the class for an hour and you can hear and you have some brain at all, it's impossible not to learn something. It's impossible. It's just, you can't. It doesn't work. And so that one of the things that happens is that many of the people who claim that they're doing something don't have a clue. They're just wasting time. And so what they do is called check-in. And check-in means that you, the provider, don't know what you're doing. And so you go around the group and say, okay, what would you like to talk about today, Lisa? And then you go to the next person. What do you want to talk about, Donna? That's bullshit. There's no anger management. There's nothing. And so that in order for an anger management program to work, you gotta have criteria. And this is what a curriculum is all about. So, okay, I just wanted to point that out to you. And then we repeat that again with the actual definition, or at least the ones that I gave and so on. So now we're going to go back to sample control logs, which is again now on page number 16. And so again, all these people in the examples were people who were actually in classes that I ran, because that gives me the ability to explain whatever it is that a person wants to know about the situation. So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you my favorite one. And I want to demonstrate something else about it while I'm doing it. So hold on for just a second. Let's see. Example number 5, which is on page number 17, Raj.
Yes, George. So we are example.
Okay. And so that this is a very old one, but it's very anyway, it will show you how I use my own emotional intelligence in my work.
Okay.
So my daughter was working with me and she took this call, and it was probably in the 90s, maybe 1998 or 99, something like that. So the caller says, do you have anger management? Or what? Daughter said, yes. And then the daughter says, how long do you have to come? And the lady said, 1 year, 52 weeks. So my daughter said, just a second. And she said, Dad, she said, this lady says she has to come for a year. And she says, she may be making a mistake. Why? It's automatic for domestic violence. If you're calling for domestic violence, state law determines that it's basically a year. And so that my daughter just wanted to make sure that the lady was coming for the right reason. So I said, I'll take it. So I said, ma'am, I said, do you have the minute order in front of you? And she said, yes. And I said, for just a minute, would you look at it? Does it actually say 52 weeks? And she said, yeah. I said, what did you do? And she says, not a goddamn thing. I laughed at the lady and I decided right away, I like this lady. I thought she has really lots, it was interesting at least, not a goddamn thing. So here's the reality. She was downtown Los Angeles, crossing Broadway between 5th and 6th Street. And so she was not walking in the crosswalk. A policeman was on the other side of the street, and all he did was said, lady, lady. And she was drinking a Coke. She walked across the street and she poured the Coke. She's put it in the officer's face. Raj, if you and I had done that, we would have been in heaven right then. It would have been history. They would have killed us, blown us away. Anyway, and she says to me, not a goddamn thing. That's what she said. Okay. So this is her control law, beliefs. She says, I was jaywalking in downtown Los Angeles and a policeman tried to give me a ticket. So I threw a Coke in his face. Okay, beliefs. I wanted him to focus on more important crime and leave me alone. Feelings. I felt pissed to the max. I was so angry, I couldn't think straight. Jaywalking is no big deal. Cost of anger. I lost my license as a registered nurse. I lost my job. I was placed in jail for 4 months and have to attend 52 weeks of anger management. Past violence. I have been surrounded by violence all of my life. My father was an abusive alcoholic. My family was dysfunctional, and I had 3 bad marriages. Okay. Did everyone hear everything that I said on this case?
Yes, George.
Lisa, I want Lisa to tell me what you thought.
Yes.
Lisa, I want you to help me with this case.
I'm coming back. I'm here. I'm sorry.
Can you see the control log on page number 11?
I'm not in the book. Let me go back to the book. I close
Take your
it.
time. Take your time.
I'm also sharing
It's difficult. Oh, just okay. Page. I see the control log on page 11
Yeah,
with the
that's
hostility. Okay.
It was, I keep page 11 in the book would be the, I got in the wrong book, Raj.
We should.
I wanted her on the negative wheel.
yeah.
Or do you have the little card that's blue on one side and red on the other?
I bet again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have that.
Oh, just look at the red wheel. That's better for you. It's easier.
Yeah, I got the one in the. It's in the book too. I got the book. I got the book in my hand.
Yeah, each one, whichever one you want. Look at
Okay.
the negative wheel first. And so after listening to my girlfriend, what was in play on the red wheel? What did you see?
I need help.
Okay, was she in a state of rage?
I saw hostility, rage,
Yeah, yeah.
intimidation.
Okay, how intimidation? When you throw something like Coke in a person's face, what happens to that individual? They
Why? Sorry, repeat that.
can't see. And so is that intimidating?
Yeah, just the fact that
Oh, yeah.
him. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I think
Like
so.
assault.
Okay, now listen. That lady lost her job.
Now,
Was
whether-
she attentive? Has she considered, was she inattentive at the time that she did that? Had she thought about the consequences?
No,
No, I
No.
don't think so.
So inattentive was there, hostility was there, rage was there, intimidation was there. What else was there? Was controlling there?
I
yes,
don't
he
think.
was
You
out of
think so?
control, trying to control.
Trying to control. Okay, and we're sticking with my friend Lisa. Do you see anything else? The other 3 things would be avoidance, interrupting, and manipulation. You see those in any way?
I don't know. I'm gonna say interrupt. Like, if she interrupted the other person,
Yeah,
I don't.
the whole
Yeah.
thing, her whole life. She lost her job.
Yeah.
Her whole life, didn't she?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're gonna leave Lisa and anyone else who wants to pick up. What could this lady have done and avoided probably everything from page number 10? What are the spokes that she should have started off using? Now, remember, the policeman didn't say, I'm going to give you a ticket. All he said was, lady. Now, tell me, anybody,
She could have expressed her feelings.
Yeah, start with that. I like that. So she's expressing her feeling. I'm the officer. Pretend that I'm the officer. What would you say to me? Officer,
Officer, I don't feel like you should be yelling at me. There are other like more serious crimes going on that you need to address or something like that.
okay, but keep in mind, the officer didn't say he was going to do anything. He just said, lady, lady.
Then I would have just approached him and asked him why he was telling me that. Why are you
Okay,
calling
anyone
me
else? Can anyone else pick anything out that you would use?
Well,
Is anyone, go
I'll just-
ahead.
this Lisa, I actually experienced that before. I didn't throw the coffee or nothing, but with an officer, kind of like he didn't yell at me, but he like called me out of my name, and I got mad. So I'm gonna say, um, I mean, what I would have said to him would have been, I would kind of would have rephrasing how he said it.
Rephrasing, actually rephrasing. Okay, go ahead. Uh-huh. Anything else? Anybody? On that wheel?
Okay, how I would have wanted to react
Go ahead.
or
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
how I should have responded.
Either way, you pick it out and give it to us. We're just trying to learn from it.
I probably would have stopped, listened to what till he finished what he had to say. And
Yeah.
I would have tried to, okay, be assertive, expressing my feelings, stating possibly my need to be able to understand him without him yelling at me.
Wow. You know you're gonna win an award, don't you?
I hope so. I don't know what for, but I hope some kind of award.
Okay, so let me tell you, this case, of course, had to go to court. And the officer, this is what he told the judge. He says, someone had gotten run over by a car in the same area, which is why I was there. And he says, all I was trying to do was keep her from getting hit by an automobile. I was just going to give her a warning. So back to what you just said a minute ago, she could have used assertiveness, stated her needs, expressed her feelings, any of those things or as many of those things as possible, and gotten away with it. Because again, jaywalking is not a big deal. But the way she did it, that's like an assault on a police officer. And so again, she lost her job as an RN. That's a big deal. And she lost, 4 months in jail. I mean, everything went wrong for her. But what I want to show you guys is what I did. This lady was an excellent student, and I had to see her for a whole year. So she was there a long time. So what I did at the end of the year, I called the California Nursing Board. I told them who I was. I told them who she was. And I said, this has been one of the best students that I've ever had in an anger management class. And I was wondering if there's any way that the board would be willing to intervene and grant her relicensure before the time, in other words, renew her license. And so they said that they would present it to the board, and they did. I called the judge personally, and the court clerk said he's on the bench. And I said, would you tell him that George Anderson called? And it's important that I speak with him. I am not uncomfortable approaching anyone. And it's surprising that I get so many of the things that I want just by asking. So I called the judge. He called me back. And I said, I hate to bother you, Jan. I know you're busy. I talk very fast. And I said, I have a lady who you had sentenced a year ago, and she's finishing now. And I called the nursing board, and they agreed that they would reinstate her. And I was wondering, she's on probation with you. Is there any way that you would be willing to end her probation sooner? He said, Anderson, he said, I really, really like the way you work. He says, she also owes me a fine. I'm going to forgive the fine, and I'm going to do the same thing. So now I'm asking you, are the steps that I took, would that be emotional intelligence? Anybody?
Yes.
And so why can't we do that? In other words, what I'm saying is I don't want to ask these people in my group to do something that I wouldn't do. And so that now the funny story, Raj, I'm always doing something a little bit different. And so I'm 85 years old and I love to speed. I used to have sports cars. I used to have an MJB, which is British made. And last one I had a Lotus and so on. And so there's a certain place in LA that I love to speed. It's between Pico and National on Sawtelle. And so I'm speeding and I see a policeman on a motorcycle, and he's not moving. He's just sitting on the cycle, but he has a speed gun on my car. And so that I know I'm speeding, and so that I don't wait for him to do anything, I just pull over and stop. So he walks up to the car and he says, sir, you're speeding. You can look at the speed gun. You were driving 57 in a 25-mile zone. He says, there's a preschool over there, and there's a junior high school over there. I pulled up in the seat so that I was leaning closer to him in the window. I said, officer, I have no excuse whatsoever. I was speeding and I deserve the consequences of speeding. Donna, did I get a ticket?
You could have for the consequences.
No, I didn't ask you that. Based on the story that I told, do you think I got a ticket or not?
I probably would have given you one.
I would say,
I'm glad you're not my policeman.
I'm gonna say no. This Lisa, I'm gonna say no because I experienced that and I didn't get a ticket.
Not only that, you just have to think about it. What did I do?
You were
Because you,
Did I take responsibility? I try to get out of it.
yes, you took responsibility
Yeah.
for what you did.
And so that if you look at the chart, was I assertive? It's right there.
Yes.
Assertive. Was
Yeah.
I
Yes.
assertive?
Yes.
And so I didn't ask for anything. I just used assertive communication. And you could say that I was focused. And did I get honest feedback?
And I think active listening.
Yes,
too.
yes.
Okay. Okay, so now listen, I still speed. So I'm speeding again, same place. This is emotional intelligence. So you can't see me, or you can maybe. But in any case, this officer was a young officer. He comes up to the car and he has a speed gun in his hand, but his hand is shaking with the speed gun. What should I tell myself about him?
He was new.
He was new, but what else? His hand was shaking.
Nervous.
Nervous.
He was nervous. So what does that mean I should do? Could I use emotional? First of all, it's called self-awareness and social awareness. The social awareness is that I tell myself, this guy is really nervous. That's what I tell myself. I don't want to play any games with him. And so he said, are you running late for a meeting or something? And I said, no, not running late. I said, I was speeding. I deserve a ticket. Nothing else I can say. He said, I'm going to give you a warning because you were honest. So I didn't get a ticket. I almost never get tickets. So this is another one. I'm on with Highway Patrol, Los Angeles. I'm going to San Jose, which is where my mother-in-law lived. I'm getting off the freeway, and I didn't stop at the stop sign. When you get off the freeway, there's a little stop sign, and I didn't stop. So the highway patrolman, I could see that he was behind me, but he didn't have his lights on. Listen to how I do things. Even before they're going to get me, I already stopped. So I stopped. So he came up, and this was the most unusual request that I've ever had. He said, do you know why I stopped you? And I said, yes. And he said, why? I said, I did not make a complete stop. And he said, why not? I said, because I come this way a lot. And I said, all the food that's at the restaurants in this area, the food was grown in this area. So it's around Bakersfield. And I said, it also, the gas is cheaper. And so I didn't stop because I was thinking, should I get my gas first or should I eat first? And so I said, I was preoccupied. And I said, so that was it. So he said, okay. So he goes back to the car and checks the computer or whatever they do. And he comes back and he said, talk me out of giving you a ticket. And I just laughed. And I said, okay. I said, I was honest. I didn't try to manipulate it in any way. Besides, I said, I work for you guys. He says, pardon? I said, I have a contract with the Highway Patrol. I provide anger management for uniform law enforcement. He said, wow. And then the second car came over. He said, will you tell my buddy what you do? And I told him. Both of them said, hey, say something like, pay attention going forward, sir, or something like that. And that was the end of that. What's the moral of the story? Do I practice emotional intelligence so far?
Yeah, yes, George.
I
And
try.
emotional intelligence part kicked in automatically through subconscious, I guess. And I love the fact that you rephrased also, like there is no excuse whatsoever. I'm speeding. You agreed to that fact. Probably we'll hear it from Diane or Donna or Lisa as well.
And so the other point is that I think that we should use our connection with the court system in particular, based on providing services for courts in a positive way. And so that there are times in which, you know, maybe it wasn't the best decision, but I don't want to get in a bad relationship with any of the courts. But when I asked the judge to release the lady from her probation or sooner, I didn't think that was manipulating because it wasn't something for me. And I was not doing it for her just to do it. I was doing it for her because she'd been an excellent participant. And so again, before going to another one, and I'm only going to do probably one more, but the question that I asked, if you were teaching a class, what do you think is going to happen after a person goes through? There are only 7 examples. And so that every time you have a new person coming to a class, they're going to have their control log, and you're going to analyze their control log using the contrasting wheels of behavior. So my long question is this way of repeating over and over again different assessments using the control logs, does that teach a lesson that's likely to be remembered? I'd like for each of you to respond to that question. So Lisa, what do you think?
Lisa?
Excuse me, I got food in my mouth.
Oh, it's okay. Do you think that this is a good model for teaching?
Excellent. Because once you go over and over it, you're gonna remember it as well. And I think it will definitely help your clients.
Okay, Donna, what do you think about this way of teaching anger management?
Yeah. It's good.
Okay. And so Diane,
Yes, I think it's very helpful and it will help other people in the group as well.
right. Okay. And
And
so I'm going to give you one, go ahead.
George, I'll have my feedback on this way of teaching model as well. In fact, apart from the 7 examples which are there in the book, we could also correlate the same session which you are reading, which you are teaching us. Probably any of us should do another 15-minute session of this, or probably a quick recap of what you teach in the first hour or the second hour or third hour. Probably we should hear it from the participants. I mean, the learning modalities, when we teach, we remember more, is what I agree. So this model certainly create that breakthrough of learning and also implementing or the execution part.
I like that very much. The other thing is that each person who is certified in this model should take the continuation course each year, which changes. And so that if there's a 4-hour continuing education, what we do is that we introduce new topics or new ways of using the material, and so on. And so in this particular case, it's like Lisa had been referred by someone who took the training in New Jersey. I trained many times in New Jersey and New York. And she said it may have been 10, 12, 15 years ago. And it's accurate. But the point is, when some of them began calling me and I said, but have you taken a continuing education course? And they said, no. In which case I said, the whole books now have been rewritten so that whatever you did 15 years ago would be very different now. Because we also did not have the contrasting wheels of behavior, I don't think, at the very beginning. This was something that I developed later.
So how often do you recommend retaking it? Every 2 years, every 5 years?
No, every year, and it's not just me. It's like if you're licensed as a psychologist or as a social worker or as a marriage counseling or as a doctor, you have to take continuing education every year, or a nurse.
Okay. And yeah, that's true.
Wait a minute, hold on. I'll forget that's why I'm this way. Let's assume that you take our class in domestic violence. It's not me who says that you have to have CEUs. It's the probation department said in order for you to continue, you have to take a CEU and it's 16 hours.
Now,
Long answer.
how much is the course?
Oh, I don't know. It differs each time. So I have no,
Okay.
I mean, I can't give you that answer. But I
Okay.
wasn't
But it's
talking about cost.
But
I
it's
was
with
saying
you, right?
you want to
It's with you.
stay up to date and you want to make sure that you're doing everything. The other thing
It's-
is I will give you this information tomorrow or later today.
But I'm saying
I
the
would like
course.
everyone to join LinkedIn. And Raj, I belong to 53 groups on LinkedIn and 5 groups to all of you I own myself. And it will be good if you, everyone join the group and become active and begin participating in responding to things that are written by other members so that you are continuing the learning even when you're not formally in a class. Does that make sense to anyone?
Yes, George, it does make sense. And Donna, sorry to interrupt you there. I mean, George wasn't, I mean, he didn't mean to cut you off there, Donna. So he's saying that if you stay active on social media or on all the LinkedIn groups, all the 5 groups, I would say that it would be my responsibility to make sure that whatever the investment which you're going to make, you will get 10 times the return. That's a promise from my end. Definitely, you will reap the benefits of this training and investment which you're going to make. And George tomorrow is going to reveal that later in the day, as you mentioned. So, do you have any specific question, George? No, for Donna. She was about to say something. Donna, please continue.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Donna. Go ahead.
No, I even forgot now what I was asking. No, I was just asking, is the course taken through you, or the LinkedIn, or is it something like what we're doing now?
They change. I change each year depending
Okay.
on what I think may be useful. And so
Okay.
the example that I can give you is if we use, for example, a different assessment 15 years ago than the one that we use now. And so that once I changed assessments, I thought that the new people who had, the older people who had taken that training should be aware that now we use something different so that they could see what it is. And so that we start off by doing what we did for you guys, give them the assessment, and then spend the balance of the time discussing the assessment. And so it may have been 16 hours or something like that, not very long. And so what was the cost? I don't remember, but maybe $40, something like that.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the last one, and then we'll move to something different, which we'll go back to our outline. But this one, and I'm doing this for a different reason. Let's see.
Page number, George.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we're going to stick with the gaining control of ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's example number 2. It's on page number 16.
Okay, example number 2. Okay.
And so I'm going to read this. This is the control log. I was waiting for a parking space in a shopping mall. Another car drove in and took my space. I displayed my service revolver. He called the police on his cell phone, and I was arrested. Beliefs. The other driver was wrong, and that's that. Feelings. I was outraged. Cost of anger. I was placed on probation from my job as an immigration officer, and I have to attend 26 sessions in anger management. So before we analyze this one, what do any of you think about this lady? Is she going to be an easy person, or is she going to be difficult in the group? Anyone?
I'd say difficult.
I think difficult too, but tell me why.
Because she's an immigration officer and she had her, she was placed on probation from her job. So she's probably like upset about it.
She's definitely upset about it, but does she seem to have an attitude?
Yes.
Yes.
And since if that's the way I think or feel about her, what should we do in advance? What should we do right away? This is our first meeting.
Assessment?
Well, she's going to get the assessment also.
Oh, okay.
But so that I'm glad you added that, because again, I learned from each session. And so I never thought about that. But the assessment she's going to get anyway. And so that the way it works is that you give feedback to the assessment to the person individually. So it's not something that you would generally do in a group. That's not,
Okay.
that violates confidentiality. So you don't do that. you'll do it if they want to, but you don't do it that way. So I'll tell you, I won't keep you waiting because you're on target here. I realized that this lady was going to be difficult. And so I said to her, "Ma'am, would you stay back?" And she stayed back. And so what I did is I went to her file and Raj, I tell you what I'm looking for.
Okay,
There are reports that we have to send to the court. I was looking in the facilitator's guide. I'll find it. Just give me a minute.
okay.
Okay, for some reason I can't find it, but what happens is we have to send progress reports to the court periodically on a client. And so what I did is that I had her stay back. And I says, "Ma'am," I says, "I want to explain to you." Well, in fact, I could do it a different way because I can tell you what else I did include in it.
Okay,
Hold on.
I mean, on the screen, we have like something which is sent to the code.
Yeah,
The
but something that I routinely send, like a completion report. You see anything like that?
like a report to the code, like, does it specify with any title? I'm on the facilitator guide right now on the screen. Yeah, there is like a Superior Code of California. There's a sample mark.
Yeah. Okay. But it's a specific report, but okay. Is another way that it could be done. And so that if we stick with this particular book, Gain Control of Ourselves,
Okay,
there is page number 5. It says group rules.
okay,
So I said, let's turn to page number 5 in your book.
okay,
And I said, I have to write a report on you. And I think that you need to be aware of the fact that you don't have to want to be here, but you have to follow the group rules. And if there are any problems, I said, I have to be honest with you. You are an immigration officer. If I send a report back to the court saying that you're not cooperative, I guarantee you're going to lose your job. I said, if I were you, I wouldn't take a risk. So then I made her read these to me a lot. I mean, straightforward. Participants must come to class on time to all classes. Fees must be paid prior to each class and must be kept current. No participant will be permitted to complete the class until all outstanding fees are paid in full. No profanity will be permitted in class. The identity of participants as well as material discussed in the group will be kept confidential. Participants who are disruptive in the group will be reported back to the court. Our referring source is uncooperative. All group members must participate in each class. Homework assignments are expected to be completed. Any participant who appears to be under the influence of drugs or alcohol will be dismissed from the group and reported back to the court or referring source. No derogatory racial or ethnic comments will be accepted in the group. Group time will not be used to answer questions regarding any member's account balance or number of remaining sessions. All cell phones, smartphones, and other electronic devices must be shut off during classes. No texting and social media will take place during session. Consistent attendance is required. So I asked you, can you see the advantage of letting her know right away that she is going to have to be really, really careful?
Yeah.
Because if there are any problems and it gets back to the court, she's gonna lose her job. So what do you think about being candid with the person in advance? Is that a good strategy? Anyway,
Yes.
why?
So they understand the consequences of not doing what they're supposed to do in group.
Okay, so let me ask you a general question, all of you, any of you. Can you see how our groups are more likely to be running just like clockwork? We don't have any problem because it's tightly structured. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. And so it's
Yeah.
like, okay. Okay. Now, Raj, I think I need help. Okay, I don't. I go back to my outline. And so we haven't done the assessment feedback, or let's see. Do any of you have a sample of an assessment that I sent? Unfortunately, I haven't seen Rod anything. Just a second.
Okay.
Assessment, let me see. It would have came from you, Raj, right?
No, Lisa, I mean, the assessment part is something which George had already sent in the past. A copy of an assessment, I guess.
Okay, so let me tell you what I'm doing in the interest of time.
Okay. Yeah.
What I did is this is an actual file. And
Like, shall I open a copy of the assessment?
yeah, that's good. And so it's page number 3 from any of the assessment. Oh, do you have, this is from,
The psychological assessment, the social work psychological assessment?
no, it's the same one that you took. It's EQI 2.0 from Multi-Health Systems.
Okay, let me see if this could be right.
Yeah, it should be on my site someplace.
No, this is like a single page from the website.
But if you look under physicians, it should be a sample report under physicians or physician coaching.
Okay, so this one is not it, but let me see if I can get the assessment, a sample assessment. EQ assessment lines. Okay, shall
Yeah. That's it.
which one shall I open?
Bar on right there. Bar on assessment is three. You have either one of them.
Okay, let me go with right.
Yeah, that's good right there. That's what I want. Turn to page 3.
Okay, there you go. So
Damn,
yeah.
Raj, you're so smart, it's embarrassing.
Thank you. Okay, so this is the one, page number 3.
Okay, unfortunately, they can see it, and so that's good enough. So here's what I'd like you all to know, is that at the very top, it says total EI. Does everybody see that?
Yes.
Donna, can
Raj, stay on
Yes.
that page and scroll. Raj, stay on
Yeah.
that page and scroll all the way down to the bottom.
okay.
Okay, just no, back a little bit more. Back, excuse me. I want to show the ranges that are at the bottom.
Okay. The
So I need
range,
you to bring it down a little bit.
okay.
Down the other way. Down.
Okay.
Scroll, yeah. That I just want them to see the what happened is that on the bottom it has 3 ranges, a little bit more. Right
Yeah.
there, right.
Yeah, that's right. The low range, mid range, high range.
That's what
Last 3.
okay, that's what I want to show you. There are 3 ranges at the bottom. It's the low range, mid range, high range. And then at the top, it says total EI, right? what I wanted to tell you is that based on my training in the assessment, I'm what they call a practitioner. I can tell you that, and it's something that you guys may be interested in also. There is a book that I recommend that you buy independently of me. It's called The EQ Edge. And the EQ Edge is by Stephen Stein.
Okay. So let me see if I
Is there
Steven
anyone-
Stein.
Can they see this, Raj?
yeah.
How you
that's-
spell Stein? S-T-I-M-E?
Stein, S-T-E-I-N, Stephen
Oh,
Stein.
N. Oh, Stein. Okay.
And the title of the book is The EQ Edge. It's really, really fascinating. The whole thing, the whole book has like 354 pages, and the whole book is devoted to this instrument that we're going through. But what it does is that on the back, it gives you a list of some professions, and it tells you, it's like in the back, it tells you the 5 competencies that are most important in certain professions. So let me give you an example, because one that you will find very interesting. Let's assume that you work in customer services. Is there anyone who's ever heard of Waldorf Astoria Hotel in New York?
Yes.
Okay, that had been a super luxury hotel for many, many years. Or now we have something called the Ritz-Carlton. Anybody heard of that?
Yeah. Rich.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
super expensive. Well,
Mm-hmm.
what you don't know is that all of their staff are trained in emotional intelligence. And so that what this book does, it tells you what are the 5 most important skills or scales for a person who's going to score high in customer service. 1, stress tolerance. 2, assertiveness. 3, happiness. 4, interpersonal relationships. 5, self-actualization. And so that if you were to contrast that with, let's say, someone who's in insurance sales, it would be assertiveness for them, self-regard, happiness, stress tolerance, self-actualization, okay? And so that back to our physicians and the scale, at the top, all physicians should score between 110 and 135. Okay? That's what your score should be. So keep that in mind. And at the bottom, it's the same thing. I tell you, high range. All physicians should score in a high range. I don't know if you can see it, probably not, but I have a real physician who I saw, and the person is in Saudi Arabia and was doing COVID, right? And so, Raj, can you tell me whether or not there's any way they can see this?
Yeah. Everybody can see that.
Yes.
Okay, look carefully. Can anyone see the number at all regarding any of these scales?
Yes.
Just pick out anything and tell me what you see.
Lisa or Donna, would you like to pick anything and just read?
Um,
I mean, okay, let me go back to the screen, probably this page.
uh,
Okay, that's okay. You guys stick with the page and I'll show you how I'll do it. Actually, I hadn't thought about it. Go back to that page so that they can see it, right? So
Okay.
I'll go with the real thing. This particular physician scored 94. So you see, he wasn't even in the mid-range, he was in the low range, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now 94 would have been between 90 and 100, right? But then, okay, and so that as we go down the scale, he scores exactly 90 in empathy. So now if your doctor has a score of 90 and empathy, how is he going to behave toward you? Way positive or way negative?
What was his score again? 92?
94.
No, okay. Empathy score was 90. And
Oh.
which means he's right at the tip of mid-range.
He wouldn't have too much compassion.
Okay, that's good. That's the way I want you to say. And so that the same doctor scored in reality testing 82. Right?
He lives in Disneyland? No. Just kidding.
So would you want him to be your surgeon?
No.
No. And so that this is not manufactured. This is a real life human being that I got paid $8,000 to see. And so that since I had never seen anything quite like this with a doctor, from the moment I received it, I contacted him and I said, I think I'd like to give you the assessment again. And he says, why? I said, I believe that your results are incorrect. And he said, no. He says, I told the truth because I need your help.
Mm.
He says, I am from Egypt. I had COVID. I was on a ventilator for 50 days. I never received a single visitor or call. My family's in Egypt. Did everybody hear me?
Yes, George.
Yes, very
You
much.
see why his scores were low?
Yes.
I was so embarrassed I didn't know what to do. How stupid could I get? Anyway, I didn't know, but COVID changed the world. I mean, it really, really has been something. And so that I just wanted to give you an example. Let's stick with this, stick with this guy, stick with the same one, 82 on reality testing. So Raj,
Yeah.
what I want you to do is go to, see if I can find the page. Reality testing. Raj, go to page 14.
Okay. And I agree to the fact that you mentioned COVID changed everything. In fact, in the post-pandemic world, I was wondering how you change the assessment, because the 15-year-old assessment is way too different than what's happening now. But social media changed the world. The post-pandemic, everything is changed. So I am scrolling to page 15 now.
14.
Okay, sorry.
Reality testing. I'm explaining this to you because I want you to see how detailed our work really is.
Okay.
And so, who is there anybody who would like to volunteer to? No, they don't have it. Raj, why don't you read what your score means?
Okay, so it's the page 14, the reality testing, right?
Yeah, I want you to read the whole thing.
Okay, sure, I'll do that. So, one moment.
There's no urgency because I'm into it. I liked it.
Okay. I'm all good, so.
What your score means, read the whole page. Or
Okay.
almost.
So reality testing, the objective is to see things as they really are. And what your score means, call it being grounded or tuned into the situation. Reality testing means seeing things for what they really are. In business, this includes accurately sizing up the environment, resources, and future trends in order to set realistic plans or goals. Rockwell, your results indicate that for most part, you can look past your emotional biases and see situations objectively. You're tuned into the task at hand and your environment, and as a result, set fairly reasonable goals. Your results suggest you're unlikely to misinterpret critical information or allow emotions to color reality. Your decisions and objectives are based on realistic information. Some instances of overlay positive extreme happiness or overlay negative emotions, extremely anxiety, may cause you to be less objective. So the impact.
Let me take over now, because what I was wanting to see is that I want to talk to them about the impact work, and I want them to see that everyone, including you guys, when you get your results, your own results is going to tell you what you can do to improve your score. So I'll tell you the impact at work regarding my doctor. It says your ability to accurately assess another's emotional state or a situation may be skewed by your underdeveloped reality testing skills. You may fall victim to gathering information that fits your pre-existing assumptions, finding evidence to support what you want to see versus what actually exists. So remember, his score is very, very low. And that's what the problem is 82, and it's in the low range, clearly in the low range, because 90 would be mid, so he's clearly in the low range. Then it says social and behavior and implication. When your emotions or personal biases prevent you from remaining objective, you may be compromising your credibility in the eyes of your colleagues. In business today, you must walk the fine line between setting lofty stretch goals and realistic, achievable goals that everyone can commit to. You gravitate toward the unrealistic side of this line, and as a result, pursue goals that others would consider far-fetched and misaligned with the operating environment. In extreme cases, your perception of reality may cause impairment in work functioning, as you tend to see situations as you wish them to be rather than as they truly are. So that this doctor is not going to be very effective and efficient. I, for example, have had 5 surgeries on the same eye. So I certainly wouldn't want an eye surgeon with a score like that. The next one is a strategist for action. This is when it's telling you what you can do. It says, stop the self-talk. Reducing the irrational self-talk that clouds your judgment will help strengthen reality testing. When you're required to make a decision, size up the situation, or give advice, go through a mental SWOT analysis as soon as you find yourself relying on pre-existing assumptions. I've had bad experiences with consultants, so I'm sure this new consultant will be even worse. This is what the doctor is saying to himself. Find evidence for strengths, weaknesses, threats, and opportunities. Then ask a trusted colleague to go through the same SOT process to make sure that what you identify is confirmed by an outside source. You want someone else to help you see things as they really are. Practical advice: breaking a problem or decision down into small, practical steps can help you stay focused on the reality of the situation and not what you wish would happen. Practical actions are specific steps that need to be taken, resources that need to be gathered, buy-in you need to secure in order to make a decision. Listing practical actions help you stay grounded under pressure by keeping your focus on specific tasks required to reach a bias-free decision. So the importance, again, of an assessment that is what's called validated is absolutely critical in determining whether or not whatever it is that you're offering works. And so it's the same thing. After I finish with the doctor, my coaching, 12 sessions, then I give them the same one again to see to what extent changes have occurred. So I realize I'm spending a little bit too much time maybe and getting behind a little bit. Well, any questions so far on any things that I covered?
Oh,
Okay,
Uh,
then I'd like to look at pages 4 and 8, which would be goals, group objectives, group responsibility. I already did the group rules. And so 4 to 8, and it's in this client workbook, I believe. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, let me tell you why I'm willing to spend so much time on this. It doesn't happen often, but one of the things that happens in, let's say, schools, if you don't know what to do with a student, sometimes you will send him or her to anger management or to take some kind of class that's not related to academia. Okay. And so I was seeing a guy for a year, and at the end he says to me, I am still depressed. And so I ask you all, is an anger management group the place to send a person who's depressed? Raj, can anybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
yes,
you.
I can hear you. I'm trying to decide.
Is an
who
anger management a
depressed.
place to go to get help for someone who's depressed?
No,
No.
No.
And so how do you guard against it? Well, you guard against it by having the goals and group objectives in the first place. And so you don't wait until at the end. It's on page number 4. And so that someone who really likes reading aloud, would you read the goals and group objectives? So we make sure that we know what an anger management group is for.
Oh,
Yeah, go ahead and
Raj,
read
you
it.
going to page 4 for us, or we gotta go for the book?
We went to the goals before?
No, I was asking Raj, was he going to the one on the screen, or did we have to go to the book?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Raj, can you bring the goals on the gain and control book?
Yeah, sure. I'm just trying that. One moment. So,
Okay, no problem. Page number 4. Well, if it's easier for me to do it, I don't really mind. And don't worry, we're gonna have some videos in the afternoon, so you won't be bored with me doing all of this.
Okay, it's there. And the page number of gaining control, George, could you?
4. You said page 4.
Page number 4, we're gonna start with the goals, and we're only gonna do goals and objectives, and we'll be completed with this section. And
Yeah,
chances
please.
are we can
Yeah.
get
We
the
are on
lunch
the
break.
goals page. Thank you.
Okay,
So you said read
volunteers?
the goals?
Yeah, goals.
Okay, about it. As soon as Raj get back to it.
Okay, there we go. I mean, Donna, or Lisa or Diane, I guess you can.
Yeah. I'm trying to, okay. Oh, start from the top, from the beginning? I thought
Yeah,
you
it's
wanted,
it's just 2 sections. Goals is only a
oh, okay,
paragraph.
just read the goals.
and
Okay.
Group objective.
So let me just make it smaller on my screen. My screen was so big. The program is designed, I'm on my phone, so that's why it's smaller. The program is designed to help individuals recognize and manage anger and stress. Well, why you doing something? What you do? One of the goals is to teach acceptable ways of expressing anger. By gaining a better understanding of self, we will learn to better control our anger so that it does not lead to violent outbursts or actions that are harmful to others. Also, we will devote lessons to improving communications so that we may become better listeners and communicators to prevent angry situations. Lastly, we will learn different techniques for stress management and enhancing emotional intelligence. Participants are encouraged to complete all of the exercises in the book and practice applying the techniques in real life situations. In addition, emotional intelligence skill enhancement exercises from the bar on EQI emotional intelligence will be used in this coaching program.
Okay, thank you. I'll do the last section, which is group
Thank you.
objectives. At the end of this course, participants will be able to, one, recognize the role of individual responsibility in changing maladaptive behavior. In other words, you don't come to the group and expect to kick back and then gain anything. The answer is no. And that's why we have in the group rule, you have to participate at every meeting. Develop a working understanding of one's own anger/stress patterns and responses. Identify situational triggers that consistently result in anger responses and can lead to aggressive behavior. Eliminate or minimize negative behavior. Learn how and when to use timeouts to prevent aggressive confrontations. Combine new coping skills to handle anger, stress, and other feelings. Use communication skills and listening techniques effectively and gain a better understanding of how children in one's family can be affected by parental communication, techniques. Become more aware of one's own stress and anger. Develop the capacity to sense the mood of persons with whom he or she must interact. And increase skills in emotional intelligence, including self-awareness, self-control, social awareness, and relationship management. Okay. What I suggest that we do is, we don't have time, or do we? Raj, do we have time to see one video from Gaining Control of Ourselves? Just maybe the first one?
Okay, sure. Let me bring that up.
You passing it, it's right in there, isn't it?
Just need a confirmation from Diane.
Yeah.
Can you see this?
That's the first one, it's fine.
Gaining Control of Ourselves
I can see it.
Okay.
by George Anderson and John Elder. Your success in this course is entirely dependent upon your honest investment in practicing skills which are described in the client workbook and in mastering the material. This is your opportunity to increase your emotional intelligence, enhance communication skills, and learn to manage stress and anger. Introduction. Learning to manage anger results in improved interpersonal skills. This class is designed to help individuals recognize and manage anger by improving communication, increasing empathy, and managing stress. Agenda. The following topics will be covered in the class. Anger management assessment. Anger, stress, emotional intelligence, communication. The assessment and feedback will take 1 hour. The discussion of anger will take 2 hours with quizzes included. Stress will take 2 hours with exercises and quizzes included. Emotional intelligence, empathy, will be covered in 2 hours, including videos and experiential exercises. Communication will be examined in 2 one-hour sessions. The post-test and summary will consist of 1 hour. Overview. Anger and stress are 2 factors that tend to occur in an act of aggression toward another person. Recognizing and improving skills in anger management, stress management, empathy, and assertive communication are the keys to improving relationships with others. All of these will be covered in this class. Vocabulary. Anger is a feeling of displeasure, which usually shows itself in a desire to fight back at the supposed cause. Stress is the mismatch between the demands made on us and our ability to meet those demands. Emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the capacity to create positive outcomes in relationship to yourself and others. Good communication skills require two sets of skills: accurate receiving and accurate sending. The anger management map. The anger management map is a positive approach to skills that are important for anger management. It provides a map or guide for your growth and change. By understanding your anger management map, you may become more aware of your strengths, identify areas of possible change and growth related to anger management. Map results may be used in planning skill building activities that will help you succeed.
Okay, so that's gaining control 1.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments? What that really does is, again, it's very first video. And so that it's probably 9 or 12. Do you remember how many are in this whole batch? Raj? Did this, by the way, this came from the website. Were you able to find the entire video in
Yeah,
the
we'll
YouTube?
tell you the links of how many in there. So let me just see if I can get, okay. So you want to know the total number of the gaining control in the list, right?
Yeah. What
Okay.
I would like to explain to them is that the value of using videos is that they're very brief, and it's a good idea to show them in relation to topics that are covered in the client workbooks. And so what I've done is, if you listen to this one, is really just an introduction, which is all we've been doing today anyway. And in the process, they introduce the old version of the assessment, which was the maps that they talk about. But I already talked to you a little bit just a second ago regarding the EQ Edge, which is the assessment that we use now. Okay. If you can't find it, it doesn't matter. What we can do is let
it's in total 9.
It's
I got
9?
them listed here on the screen.
Okay,
We
then.
going to send an email of this list, George?
We're gonna no,
Yeah,
we can't. I don't know. They have access to the YouTube anyway, as well as this website. But just for the hell of it, why don't we just do one more, because they're really very brief. Can we do number 2?
Yeah, sure. Let me play the number 2. And this is unlisted, as in nobody has access to this unless we share it with them.
Best morning routine for manifesting more money
Okay.
is an
Let's skip
alpha
that.
practice. You may
Okay.
So we have a link to all of this? Oh, I mean, before we can view it on YouTube?
It's on the website, which is, but again, it's George's final call. If the
The
link-
answer is yes, I do want them to have access to it.
Okay, so
Can you share the link? If
yes,
you
We're
have
going
it?
to, you're gonna have a copy of this anyway, remember?
Oh, okay. I just wanted the link. Okay.
Well, yeah.
and I'll
No, that's
also
the whole-
share the links, Lisa or Donna or Diane. I'll send you a reminder of the links, though you have a copy of this. So I'm just
driven stress, two factors that tend to occur in an act of aggression towards another person. Recognizing and improving skills in anger management, stress management, empathy, and assertive communication are keys to improving relationships with others. All of these will be covered in this class. Vocabulary. Anger is a feeling of displeasure, which usually shows itself in a desire to fight back at the supposed cause. Stress is the mismatch between the demands made on us and our ability to meet those demands. Emotional intelligence is a capacity to create positive outcomes in relationship to yourself and others. Good communication skills requires two sets of skills: accurate receiving and accurate sending. Anger control log. Briefly describe the incident which resulted in your decision to take this class. What did you want to happen in this situation? What caused you to think that your action would get the results you wanted? What feelings were you having? What was the impact of your action on you? Did any past violence or aggression on your part affect this situation? What could you have done differently? Give an example. Destructive interactions. Which of the following negative interactions best describe your behavior in the incident mentioned in your control log? Inattention, intimidation, controlling, manipulation, hostility, rage, avoidance, interrupting, constructive interactions. Which of the following healthy interactions might you have used to improve the situation in your control log? Active listening, focusing, seeking compromise, rephrasing, expressing feelings, stating needs, assertiveness, honest feedback. Anyone can become angry, that is easy. But to be angry with the right person, with the right degree, at the right time, for the right purpose, and in the right way, that is not easy. Aristotle. Anger and you. Which of Aristotle's challenges do you have the most difficulty with? Being angry with the right person, being angry to the right degree, being angry at the right time, being angry for the right purpose, being angry in the right way. Anger. What is it? What causes it? Anger is a reaction to an inner emotion and not a planned action. Anger is a secondary emotion. Anger is learned. Anger is a normal human emotion. Anger is a problem when it is harmful to you or someone else. The heavy cost of anger. Here are 5 specific signals that will tell you when your anger is creating problems for you. When it is too frequent, when it is too intense, when it lasts too long, when it leads to aggression, when it destroys work, school, or personal relationships. Anger is an energizer. Anger sends signals to all parts of our body to prepare us for a physical fight. Anger is a secondary emotion. A primary emotion is what we feel just, often unconsciously, before we feel angry. Identify the primary emotion. Communicate your feelings. Anger is often a response to fear. Anger, a powerful teacher. Anger is an intense emotion. It is evidence that we feel strongly about something. As with every emotion, it has a lesson for us. It can teach us what we value, what we need, what we lack, what we believe, and what our insecurities are. It can help us become more aware of what we feel strongly about and which emotional needs are important to us. Learning from anger. One way to learn from anger is shown in the example below. Instead of saying, "She should never have done that. I can't believe how insensitive and inconsiderate she is. What a cold-hearted, evil person." Reframe your thoughts. "I wish he hadn't done that. I feel ignored and trifled with. How can I take care of my own emotional needs?" Summary. Anger is a basic secondary human emotion that impacts the body and mind. When acted out inappropriately, anger can be destructive. By paying attention to our anger, we can learn from it and develop deeper emotional intelligence. Application. Notice how your anger impacts you and your relationships. Become aware of how anger feels in your body so that you can notice and manage it earlier. Learn to learn from your anger instead of acting it out in destructive ways. For more information, why not take a look at some of these resources? Evaluation. Anger is a primary emotion. True or false?
What's the answer?
Our response to
What's the answer?
Yeah, Donna, Lisa, or Diane, would you like to say true or false for
Just
anger?
do them all up and let them answer all of them.
False.
So the answer to number 1 is false.
Oh, yeah, no, it is a primary emotion. Sorry.
Okay. What about 2?
anger is learned.
True,
True or false?
true.
True.
Okay. Taking a time out gives you time to plan your attack against the other party. I like that myself. What's the answer?
Taking a
Four?
time.
What's the answer to number 3?
Is it
True.
four? That's true.
True.
Mm, mm. Or is it both?
No. It really is false. Taking your time out.
Oh,
gives you
okay,
time.
okay. I thought it was four. I'm like, well, that
Oh, it's
don't
easy.
sound right.
Number 4.
I usually like to plan my attacks.
True. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, what Donna said is like,
Who said that? She want to
No.
plan her attacks?
Joking, because
Yeah.
I said true until I actually really looked at it and I said, no, that's probably me though. I like to plan my attacks.
Oh my goodness.
Let's do.
We can work together, Donna.
that's part of the emotional intelligence. That's being
Yeah,
smart.
it's called strategizing. And
Probably-
And
number
number
4,
4, I'm gonna say true.
powerful teacher, it can teach us what we value.
It can teach us.
Yes,
Okay, well,
I would agree, true.
Let me ask you all now regarding, this is a sample of this particular video, gaining control of ourselves. And so you can see how it's closely tied in with the book. And so that you can use it however it is that you want. But Jairo, who's been with me, or was with me for like 23 years, what he did is that if he was going to discuss a particular topic, he would show them a video at the beginning before you go to the workbook. And then he would go to the workbook. How you do it is entirely up to you. But the question that I asked, can you see how clients in a class that you're teaching would gain from watching a video as well as reading something in a book, as well as
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So questions or comments regarding anything that we have covered this morning, and we'll give you the hour break for lunch.
I don't have any questions.
Okay,
I don't
comments?
think I have any either.
No questions, but what about comments?
I think I need an anger management class. Because
I think I'm.
you know what?
I think I'm
You know-
taking one.
Yeah, I know. No, I know, but I meant like, yeah, that's true.
Another.
No, but like you said, actually, what we said earlier about taking the, what do you call it, the assessment test, and just actually answer questions actually kind of like makes you like think, hey, you know what? Really see yourself a little, assess yourself a little better. So yeah, just like taking this class is like, oh my gosh, I got a couple of these. And it happens on the 405.
Yeah.
I was glad that the guy was precise in mentioning the 405, because everybody in the state have heard of the 405. Because it really is a problem. And you will discover that almost everyone winds up getting road rage referrals that come from incidents on the freeway in which the highway patrol, they don't make referrals actually, but they refer them to the court. And then the judges also, I must clarify, never make referrals. They just give you a list and you select a program and take it. Any questions regarding anything that we have covered today? In which case, I'll let you go. Otherwise, we have.
So I have one question, because I have what do they call it? So I have a nonprofit where I work with youth from 13 to 17. And I noticed is that on one point that when working with adolescents, teenagers, you should separate them.
And what it says specifically, and what I have experienced specifically, is that a young adolescent, and it gives you the ages, middle school kids, in contrast, should never be in the same group. Why? The older youngsters will manipulate or in some way be inappropriate in relation to the younger students. And so it's not my idea. It's not, ideas that came from no place. That's the experience pretty much worldwide. And so
So
what is
what
the,
if, so being that I have that age group, so should I just keep them separated? If they are
absolutely.
in the same
Relation
class,
in relation,
separate the age group, okay.
no. Whatever you're doing already, you keep doing whatever you're doing already. But if you're going to introduce this model for anger management, then yes, all of the
Okay.
things you're doing, you should discontinue. Otherwise, you're not using this model, you're using something different.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? So Raj, can you instruct them how to leave their computers and save some time for me? You and I would chat a bit. And we'll see you back here at 1 o'clock Los Angeles time. It was an hour from now.
So is that a 30-minute break or a 60-minute break?
No, this is an hour, 1 hour.
Okay, so 1 hour break. So,
This is a lunch break.
okay. So Diane, Lisa, and Donna will be back after 1 hour. So you can join the link back again after 1 hour, or you can leave your computers on with the mute and the video off. That should be fine.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm too scared of touching my computer, so you have to tell me a way that I can do nothing and make sure that it doesn't create a problem.
Yeah, I mean, you will be on mute, George, as I remotely have access to your computer. We are good as long as you do not close the window. Just leave it. You can keep the video off. I'll just say stop video. And you were only the picture would come. Shall I stop the video on your computer? Oh, I'm sorry. I see that you're on mute. You need to hit unmute. No, I can't hear you. You're on mute. No. Let me unmute you again. Could you hit unmute or could you choose accept?
Okay.
Okay, now I can hear you.
Okay, I'm going for lunch, and so that I don't want to do anything on here. I'll come back at 1 o'clock.
Okay, sure. I'll be here. The video will be off, but just give me a sign or just say, Raj, I'll be back. I'll be right here. Thank you.
Okay, I'll be back. Okay, so when I come back, then what do I do?
Nothing. Just leave the computer as it is.
Okay.
Put you on mute. Thank you.
Thank you. That's it.
Yeah, George, over to you.
Okay, you can stop it.
Yeah, I paused it. Sorry. Okay, so do you have anything to ask for Lisa, Diane, or Donna?
I can't hear, so bring it back to me. I want to ask him to give me some feedback.
Okay. Okay. Diane, Donna, or Lisa, do you have any specific feedback or do you have any questions out there before we continue?
No, I think it's,
No
No.
questions.
One at a time. Well, let me pose this
I
question.
don't know. No,
Am I
I
sp-
don't have. This is Diane. I don't have any questions.
Okay, well, let me ask you then, Diane. Does the demonstration make sense? Is it becoming easier to see how the model is designed to be used?
Yes.
And is this something you can do?
Oh, definitely.
Okay. And can you see how repetition makes some sense in terms of memory and understanding?
Yes.
Okay. The same questions to anyone else. Donna? Is Donna
Yes.
still?
Yes, yeah, I am.
Okay, then
What was-
what do you think? Is this something that you can do?
Yes,
Okay. Do you like the model? Is it simple enough?
yes. It is.
Okay. And so regarding the people in this particular training,
Mhm.
did you sense how easy it was for them to follow?
Yes. And when I hesitated to say yes the first time, it's because I'm a little shy sometimes in groups, but I can do it.
I got a surprise for all of you. You get a kick out of this. I am by nature one of the shyest persons that you've ever met. And so my wife and I are married for 10 years because she used to laugh every time I said that. And then finally she felt really embarrassed because she says, really, I didn't know that you were so uncomfortable. Because I always do whatever it is that I've had to do, regardless of how it makes me feel. But in reality, I'm also very shy. And so that I get it. But in the meantime, what I'd like to do next is I would like to find out from Raj if there's another video that we have on the YouTube, and it's called Yano Mas.
Okay, now before I jump into the Yomomas video, George, Lisa had raised her hand. Probably, Lisa, please go ahead and speak or ask the question.
Oh, okay. So it basically, I was gonna say this. It was very, very easy. Now I feel like I'm very shy as well. But I'm the same way. When something has to get done, I will do it. And I think it was very, really, really simple and something that I believe I can do. That's all.
Okay, I really appreciate that. Yeah, I see Yano Mas to the left. And again, can you see the advantage of showing videos in your training? Anybody?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And
I mean,
what if the videos were free?
does even better.
That'd be great.
No,
It's
They
even
are.
better.
They are free. Before we had the YouTube channel, we sold these videos. And so let me share something with you guys. Did you notice in my office, there was a post on the wall that says anger management?
the one with the, yes, I saw it. The one with Adam Sandler.
Okay, so you were aware of that.
Yes,
I
Did I
missed
tell you
it.
guys before about me and that I was on the consultant?
yes.
Okay, that was really a funny experience. But the reason that I mention it so often is that you should be consciously aware of every opportunity that may come your way. and take advantage of it. And so example, Jairo, who's been with me or was with me for 23 years, speaks Spanish. And so that he has probably been on Spanish language television more than anyone that I know who does this kind of work, because it wasn't something that I could do. But I could do anything on an English channel, and I did. And so it's a good idea to take advantage, because the power of social media or media in general can never be underestimated. So now what I need you to do is that this Llano Mas is actually on domestic violence, and it was made on site in Chiapas, Mexico. And so unfortunately, the guy who owned the company passed away, and they weren't able to do what they were going to do. And that was to make videos for Anderson and Anderson. But this is good. Stop right there. Hold it there, because that's the one that we're going to focus on initially. Okay. And so that the deal is, I don't want those of you who speak Spanish to tell us the story. I just want you to discuss with us and let me lead the way in terms of asking questions. But I would like for Raj not to have any sound whatsoever. And there are 5 characters, and it's very fast. And so that when it's over, then we're going to have a discussion, and that may take us to the balance of the day. But as you're looking, think of a character that you would like to personally explain. So since there's only 3 of you or 4 of you, everybody's going to have to take one, and a few of you may volunteer for more than one. If not, I'll do it myself. So, okay, Llano Mas, you can turn it on now.
Shall I continue playing it, George?
No sound. Go ahead.
Cuando se
No
emborracha,
sound.
nadie
No sound. Pay close attention. Can you unmute me? Raj?
Yeah, you're on mute.
Okay, you can stop the video.
Okay.
Okay, in fact, we're gonna discuss who would like to be first. And so that, in fact, Raj, I'm gonna volunteer you. Pick out one character.
From the video.
Yeah,
So I'll pick the mother, Margarita.
okay. Okay, listen, stick with that. The mother. When her husband passed the window getting ready to come in the house, do you recall how she behaved?
Yeah, fearful.
How did she behave?
Fearful.
Yes, fearful. Okay. And so let me tell you what happened. He says to her, "Where is the money?" And that's when she made the gestures of trying to hide it. Then he says, "I am the man of this house. Everything in this house belongs to me. If you try to hide the money or you do that again, I'm going to hit you or beat you." And he hit her anyway. She says to him, "This is the only money we have. The money is needed for food." So here's my question. There are 4 styles of communication: passive, passive-aggressive, aggressive, and assertive. Which style of communication did this lady tend to use?
She used passive.
Absolutely, consistently. Okay. Now, that's good, Raj, and I very much appreciate it. Who would like to pick out another character?
I will. This is
Who is
Diane.
that? Diane. Who are
Yeah.
you going to pick out?
The daughter.
Okay, this little girl is 11 years old. And so that the beauty of a tiny video like this is that you can watch it as many times as you want in only a few minutes. But if you remember, what happened to the little girl when she saw her dad pass the window getting ready to come in the kitchen? Do you remember?
She hid under the bed.
Ah, okay. But was there anything that she did as a gesture that one could call emotionally intelligent?
She hid out of fear.
That's one, but what else did she do while hiding? Was she protecting your little brother?
Yeah, she was protecting her brother.
Okay. And so the same thing. In terms of styles of communication, you don't have to stick with the same style. But what if she used 2 different styles of communication? What may they be and how would you explain?
Well, she's definitely passive because she's
Yes.
scared.
Yeah, I would be too. And so
Yeah.
that when she was listening to her grandmother, did you notice any things on her face, any changes?
Yeah, it seems like just knowing the culture, I bet the grandma was telling the mom to go back to the husband. Because
Of
that's
course, I
how
told you not to tell us anything, didn't I?
sorry.
You were telling us the truth culturally. I don't want you to do that. But yes, you're absolutely right. But listen, the grandmother said, "No, go back to your husband," and more than that. But did the little girl like that?
No, not at
No
all.
way. No way. It's like she said, ain't gonna work out that way. Look at there. She was pissed
Yeah,
at him.
she's mad.
So what style of
Yeah, she's
communication
angry.
is that? Wait a minute. What style of communication
That's
right there?
aggressive.
Oh,
Aggressive.
she cut her grandma's neck off right then.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're doing really good. Okay. One other thing. The little girl has the infant in her arm, right?
Right.
So that, what do you call that when a child is placed in a role of parenting? You get my question?
I mean, like the mom is not able to parent because she's scared, or
Okay.
I'm not sure.
You're doing the right thing. In other words, it's not healthy developmentally for the little girl, even though the attention
Right.
is good. It's called parentifying. But okay, so you're doing really, really good, and I appreciate it. So who's going to take the next one? Is it Lisa?
I'll try. I'll be the man.
You're going to take the brother, huh?
Yeah, I'll take him.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning.
No,
What
George.
style of communication did he use? And it could be more than one.
Yeah, George,
Um,
Lisa told she'll take the man, not the boy.
yeah, the man. The father,
Yeah, you taking the father. So what
the
style of
husband,
communication
yeah.
did he observe?
So I would say angry, he's
Oh,
aggressive.
style of communication is precise. Passive, passive aggressive,
Aggressive.
or assertive. So got to be one of those four.
You said aggressive, right?
Absolutely. Stick with it.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, aggressive.
The only
Mhm.
thing is that when you're teaching a class like this, you, the facilitator, has a responsibility to be consistent. And so if the student says something incorrectly, don't be quiet, because you don't want them to go away learning the wrong information. Is that correct?
Correct.
Right. And so when they make a mistake, you say, no, that's not quite right. And you let them know what it is. So this guy was
Right.
aggressive from the beginning until the end. And so I ask you, what do you think that his scores would be on the emotional intelligence assessment that we went through today? Which range his scores fall in? High, mid, or low?
For aggressive, it would be low.
The
It would
whole
be low. It would
overall
be low.
emotional intelligence scores.
Overall, very low. Very low.
Very low. Okay. And any other questions or comments you want to make regarding this man? You've done good.
He was
So,
abusive. We know he was abusive.
yeah, but we don't want you to take us away from our formula.
Oh, okay, so let me think. I'm thinking.
So-
He was aggressive.
okay, you did good. You did good. Okay, so now we
What
have,
else? You
who do we
okay.
have left? You have to be nice to senior citizens now, but what about grandma? Who's going to take grandma?
Yes, I'll take grandma.
Okay. Look at grandma right there. I like the way you're doing this, Raj. Grandma never gave eye contact to anyone, did she?
No.
No. But what is her mood? Mood.
Hence,
Yes,
I don't
okay,
know.
that's good.
she might actually be one that has dealt with it herself.
Absolutely, but you're trying to take me away from my story.
Oh,
That's called cheating. We'll get that later. What style of communication does grandma use?
what kind of what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Styles of communication did grandma use?
I would say negative.
Yeah, Donna.
Passive aggressive.
Passive
There are
aggressive.
four styles of communication: passive, passive aggressive, aggressive, and assertive. Now, which style of communication, and it could be more than one, did grandma use?
I'm stuck.
Passive aggressive.
Raj, go ahead.
Yeah, Donna, so the kind of behavior, the four quadrants which George spoke about was like passive aggressive or aggressive assertive or passive assertive. So what behavior did grandma show? Was she aggressive? Was she passive? Was she assertive or both passive assertive? And that's what George is asking.
I guess she was passive aggressive.
Okay, good. She was passive. And so that now we have, did we do a little boy yet? No. Who's gonna take the little boy? Anybody? Take the little boy, somebody. Diane, I'd like for you to take the little boy.
Okay.
Styles of communication.
He's like passive aggressive, I think.
What was the aggressive part?
Like wanting to show her like moving her hair when like she didn't want him
Wait a minute,
to tell.
Was that aggressive?
No, I mean, I guess not. I guess he's just passive.
Okay, but let's look at that because that was an important gesture. Could that be perceived as emotionally intelligent? Look at his face again.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I
He
thought.
was being like caring.
Yeah.
He was like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah. That's really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we got one more to go. It's the infant. So what happens to an infant in a family in which there's domestic violence? Does anybody know?
I mean, the infant
The
would,
answer- Go ahead.
infant would grow up with that kind of behavior, which is aggressive by
Learned behavior.
subconsciously.
Yeah. Now remember the lady who we described who threw the coke in the policeman's face? She says, I grew up in a family in which domestic violence. She said, I've been essentially exposed to domestic violence for all of my life. And so that, remember, I personally work with physicians. And so I saw a woman pediatrician and I showed her this video, this same little piece. And she says the infant is likely to be delayed. And here's her development. And it's going to likely be an infant who's going to have colicky and all kinds of disorders that are related to stress. I mean, it's really just bad news all the way around. And so now I ask all of you, what, if anything, did we learn from this 2 or 3 minute video? Anybody? I'm listening.
So I'm a domestic violence advocate.
I am too.
Yeah, and so I mean, you know, the problem with domestic violence, you know, with kids is that the kids learn what they see before them. And there's like a really lack of empowerment by the mother to the daughter, as far as like her going over there talking to her mom about what happened, and so they stay stuck in the cycle of violence.
Yes.
And
So
there's a lot of like power and control issues going on there.
Yeah. So let me go back then. I can tell you the story. The man says this, I tell you that part. He says, I'm the man of this house, everything is mine. When she goes to her mother's house, she says, Mom, my husband beats me, he beats the children, he doesn't work, he takes the money that I earn by ironing clothes for the neighbors and he spends it on drugs and alcohol. Grandma says, in order for you to be a decent mother and wife, you have to stay with your husband. Maybe someday he may change. So that's what the little girl did not like. The last statement, the little girl didn't like that one at all, but that's what really occurred. Okay, we're not going to spend any more time, but this is another video that has a whole lot of material in it. In fact, we should go to one more because I'd like it. It's domestic violence and you're interested, and why not? See if you can find some women sitting around playing cards, some very rich women.
Okay.
Women, you'll see them in a minute. There you go. Well, we passed them already. Back the other way. Yeah. There you go. There you go. Right there. Yeah. Can you get that one?
Yeah.
Pull that scene up. Yeah.
No audio, right?
No audio. No. But I want them to see the whole picture.
Okay.
That's good. Yeah. Okay. So this is a key person here. So just watch the whole thing. It's only a few minutes. There they go. Yeah. This is Mexico, still Chiapas. Okay, now she's going home. This is her husband. Watch him very carefully because he's going to drink some Jack Daniel, but he says this is a 2-drink problem. Watch him. Whoa. Now watch him. He didn't even taste it. Watch what he's going to do. He put some more in there. That's something. He's pissed. Okay, we can stop it. Okay. So let me tell this story. The woman is actually trained as a lawyer, but she's never practiced law. So she's meeting with her girlfriends and she says, there's a new lawyer in town. And they said, yeah, we know that. She says, guess what? He invited or asked me if I'd like to join his practice. And her friends said, why would you want to do that? And she says, I would just like to do something useful. They said, oh, your husband is not going to like that. And one lady says, you don't need the money. You have a housekeeper, you have a BMW. Why would you do that? And she says, I don't know. So she goes home and her husband says, how was your day? And she says, okay. And then she says, there's a new attorney in town. He asked if I'd like to join his practice. And he said, don't you get enough money from me? Why do you need to work? No, you just want to go to bed with him. And he beats her up. On the way, she says to him, this is not a good time. Why don't we talk about this at a later time? And he pushes right on and beats her up. In any case, how would you use that? I don't know. You can use it however it is that you want. But just keep in mind, free videos, and there's a whole lot of them on there. So comments or questions regarding anything regarding this, these videos that are on our YouTube channel. Any comments?
Mhm. So we say that the woman was like passive aggressive because she looked like she was arguing back and trying to like maybe push back, fight back.
This is very important. I'd like for others to respond. What you're asking is this passive aggressive or is this
Just
assertive? And so
Yeah.
that, okay, and so it's
I would
open.
say she was assertive.
Okay,
Okay.
I would say she was trying to be assertive, yeah.
okay. I support assertive. It
Okay.
didn't work, but I still believe that this is the only style of communication that we want to encourage.
Would she
Okay,
not also be stating her needs?
she did. She said, I don't think we should discuss this now. I think we should wait for another time. What she was meaning is that she didn't want him to be drinking his Jack Daniels and try, and resolve anything.
So
Right.
your question was, what did we see on the wheel that she was portraying?
I
What
didn't ask that, but why don't we look at the wheel? Okay, let's look at the wheel. Let's do that. And so I like to start with the negative wheel. So what did she see on the red wheel? The negative wheel.
pertaining to the lady?
To me, he's the bad guy.
Okay.
Oh, so the negative will. Okay, let me find that.
Controlling.
Yeah, that's exactly, he was controlling. He doesn't want her to work,
Mm-mm.
but we can't stop there. What else?
Intimidating.
Rage.
Get her. Yes is rage. That's 3 right there. Keep going.
Hostility. Hostility.
Absolutely. That's 4.
I would say manipulation.
There you go again.
Inattention.
If you guys are this good, why do you need me?
Because we need you to show us.
And I will say interrupting because he interrupted her career.
I agree.
Okay. Diane said that she is very much an advocate. And you mentioned the power and control wheel from domestic violence, right? Is it Diane? Did she leave? Okay. Diane leave?
No, everybody's still here.
Okay, can you unmute?
She's still on.
Okay, it doesn't matter. What she did is that she referred quickly to 2 wheels from the domestic violence from the Duluth model. And I was just going to talk about it, but since she's not on right now, Diane, you back?
Yeah, I had my grandson. I had to go lay him down.
Oh,
Sorry.
no problem. No problem with that. But you
Yeah,
had
what's going
mentioned
on?
something about the Duluth wheel, the power and control wheel. And I
Yeah.
want to tell you is that I was trained by Michael Paymar and Ellen Pence. And unfortunately, I didn't agree with them years ago when I took their training. And I wrote my own curriculum. And so that I'm in the process, or I've already revised it. But I no longer, not just me, it turns out that the federal government and everyone else who did research over the last 30 years found that this power and control wheel sounds good, but had no meaning whatsoever. Not only that, the entire model, they compare it offering absolutely 0 as opposed to the Duluth model. And the Duluth model was equal to 0. And so that if you're interested in domestic violence, you still should use this instead of their power and control wheel. You learn nothing from the power and control wheel. It's just something that they were promoting. It sounds good, but it has no practical meanings. Okay, so do you have any questions? We have about 50 minutes left. We can spend the time however it is that you would like, but I suggest that we begin with day 2 tomorrow, because part of what I plan to do is spend some time on how to establish and maintain and anger management practice. And so that what I recommend that you do is, let's use this time having me fill in the gaps of things that you would like to know that we did not cover yet, that may relate to the curriculum for anger management and emotional intelligence. Are my questions clear or not?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, pretty clear. I think we all probably just thinking.
Okay, then what I can do then is that I will go back to the suggested guide. And one of the things that I would focus on is on page number 8. I don't even know. Yeah, you can go there. It'll be easier for them probably. Page number 8. And this is in the facilitator's guide. This one. is
Oh, we
page-
don't have that. I don't
No,
have
but he
it.
can bring it up for you.
Okay.
I have it.
Okay. So on page number 8, it says length of group life. And so that all anger management classes, at least in the United States, that take mandated clients should be open-ended. And so that there are two kinds of groups, a closed-ended group and an open-ended group. And so that an open-ended group means that mandated clients can enter and graduate or leave at any time, because each person stays for the length of time that they're mandated to stay. And you cannot put a person on a waiting list, because you then are penalizing the person, because the courts don't work that way. So you want to have an open-ended group if it's anger management. The same thing for batterers intervention. Now, there are some alternatives. Let's assume that you have a contract with a school district. There it has to be closed-ended, because they operate on a curriculum based on 55 minutes in terms of the length of time that a session can be, and one semester or more semesters, whatever number, but generally is one semester. And how long is one semester? I think it may be 32 sessions, something like that. But anyway,
It's usually like 16 weeks.
16 weeks is a semester or a quarter?
Yes.
Okay.
A quarter is 8 weeks.
Okay, so I stick with exactly what you said. My whole point was, it has to be, you are their guest. So you can't come in and tell them what it's going to be. They tell you. And so that, hold on a second, I'll give you, I think I can give an example. Yeah. Can you go, Raj?
Yeah.
To page 22 in this booklet, the same one, page number 22.
Okay. 1 moment. Okay, we are on page 22.
Okay, so if you look at the dates, it tells you that this was 12/18/2001. So that's what, 22 years ago. But in any case, I was asked to write a curriculum and a proposal, and then you can see it's not even 2 pages. It was for the Sacramento Unified School District, and it's really fascinating because it did something that had never been done before. And so it says adolescent groups and it says are or adult groups. So I'm going to go through it, and then we're going to spend time responding with as many questions and responses as you want. These types of groups are being increasingly offered in public school districts. The following outline developed for and by Grant Union School District of Sacramento, California is a good example of the structure of the courses currently in use in a number of California adult education programs. It must be kept in mind that when you are the guest in another program or institution, you are bound by the organizational needs. For example, in the middle of high school, classes are 43 to 55 minutes. In adult school, they can range from 1 to 2 hour classes. It is also necessary to present a curriculum for most school districts before new classes can be approved. And so that what we did is we had in a middle school, Grant Union, instead of suspending mostly boys for fighting, they instead met with the parents and say, we believe that Johnny would be better off if he is placed in an anger management class after school based on his aggressive behavior. That would be better than suspending him. And if you approve, we will let him be in a class for 1 semester. So we started with the pre-assessment and then client workbooks. And then you, or whoever works for you, go to the school once a week for the length of time it tells you, 43 or 55 minutes. And you have a class. And then at the end, you give the post-assessment and so on. But the beauty and uniqueness of this is these same parents, they said, and the adult school that's in your neighborhood is offering a class in anger management for you, the parents. And so I ask all of you, do you believe that if you have a class for students and their parents separately, that it would be out of the world, probably effective? Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, George. I was waiting to hear an answer from Diane or Donna or Lisa.
So you said, will it be effective out of?
Yeah. The parents are learning
Um,
about anger management and so are the kids.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I think,
That's
so
very,
for my,
Yes,
I'm sorry, yeah. Well, I
yeah,
was gonna say from my experience, some kids don't let out everything in front of their parents. So it could be a yes or no, but having them
No,
both
you
in the class.
misunderstood. They're not going to be in
Oh,
classes with
okay.
their parents.
Oh,
The
okay,
parents
I'm
will
sorry.
be in the school for adults at night. The kid's going to stay in the school that they already go to. They just have to stay for an hour after school.
Oh, well, yeah, that definitely would be effective,
Okay, we think. So,
I
but
think.
anyway, I wanted you guys to see that this is a sample of an outline. And so if you wanted to negotiate with your junior high school or your high school, I already wrote the exam for you, just change the words. So it tells you principles of stress and anger management. And so if I were you, I would change it to emotional intelligence / anger management. Either way, it has goals and purposes. The goals of this class are as follows: to help students recognize and manage anger, to help students develop acceptable ways of expressing it, performance objectives. Upon completion of this course, students will recognize the role of individual responsibility in changing their unacceptable behavior, develop a working understanding of anger, stress patterns, and responses, identify situational anger that consistently results in angry responses and can lead to aggressive behavior, eliminate or minimize person-directed aggression, and how and when to use timeouts to prevent confrontations and incorporate new coping skills to handle stress, anger, and other feelings. Develop communication skills and listening techniques to enhance interpersonal relationships. Learn to sense the mood of persons with whom they must interact and respond in ways to improve rather than impede positive interaction. And it tells you the instructional strategies. And you have to do all of this. You can't be creative and write your own format because they won't even look at it. It tells you instructional methods include group process, multimedia presentation, group discussion, and lecture. Next page, reading, written material, and handouts. Okay, and then it says time of instruction, 26 hours, that's 6 months. It says appropriate hours per unit of major instructional units. Introductions, what is anger? Personal self-awareness, 4 hours. What is stress? Awareness, acceptance, coping, managing stress, 4 hours. Understanding you, recognizing anger, high-risk situations, 4 hours. Reasons for anger journal, timeouts, 4 hours. Proven communication, positive communication, 5 hours. Conflict resolution, respectful communication, 5 hours. Evaluation. Student takes responsibility for his or her anger. Student demonstrates ability to use skills that he or she is learning. Repetition policy is policy of the adult community of vocational education program. Allow students to repeat a class if they have shown progress, but have not met all of the course requirements. And so that, what are your thoughts about this proposal, or the fact that a proposal can be written with such simplicity? Anyone? Or what questions do you have regarding anything that we've covered today? Am I still on?
Yeah.
Yes,
I don't have any
no
questions.
questions. I
Okay,
just would ask if Voss can go back up a page or two. I was trying to read and it was moving to hit the next page. I didn't get okay, all of that. Yeah. The page before anger management. I was trying to get all of the instructional strategies. That's all.
okay, and so that I would like to go back to the book, this one, and I mentioned something about length of group life a while ago. And I started off by saying that there are two kinds of group, open-ended and closed-ended. So I talked about them too. So let's do the length of group life here and make more sense of it. It says ideally, anger management groups should be open-ended. New participants should enter the group as others complete. Since an average group should be 1 hour, the average length of a 26 session program should be 26 hours. Referrals from EAPs, that's employee assistance program, HR managers, organizational development specialists, businesses, as well as courts, often dictate the length of time a participant is ordered to attend an anger management group. Therefore, open-ended groups are best to accommodate the wide range of client needs. Generally, business clients are seen for 10 sessions, I say 12. Courts often prefer 10 to 52 sessions, depending on the severity of the offense. Usually small infractions and misdemeanors. Rarely is anger management ordered by hardcore offenders or felons. Flexibility on the part of the program or facilitator is essential in order to accommodate community needs. There's a strong tendency for a well-functioning groups to want to continue even after the number of sessions ordered have been completed. Therefore, some form of aftercare may be considered, perhaps a less frequent monthly follow-up for graduates who wish to maintain the progress in the class may serve this purpose. Responsibility of the facilitator. In a psychoeducational anger management group, the leaders are responsible for the structure and content of the session. Imparting information is one of the major functions, but a clear prior statement of the goals of the program is also important in establishing the most helpful kind of learning experiences.
Yeah,
Group
George, is this
techniques.
still in the guide?
Pardon?
I'm sorry, is this still in the facilitator guide or is it in the gaining control of ourselves?
No, this is the same one. It's on page number 9.
Okay, sorry about that, wait.
No, no problem.
So page number 9.
So I read 8 a while ago. So it's on page number 9. now?
Okay,
Okay. If this can be sent to them just as an email, I have no problem with them having it.
Okay. Very good.
Andy?
Thank you.
Okay. It says, one of the most important roles of the facilitator is creation and maintenance of the group, including selection of group members and making certain to manage issues that may threaten group cohesiveness. Problematic issues include absences, costs, talk, disruptive behavior, constant negative concentration, and scapegoating. Facilitation tasks. And this is what you do as a facilitator. Set a positive tone. Explain the group rules. Helps the group focus on what is happening presently in the group as opposed to outside of the group. For example, in the group, clients will say, why did he get 10 sessions and I got 52? That has nothing to do with anything. So you say, wait a minute. You can't talk about that, not here. That's not on our lesson schedule for today. What you do is that when you go back to court, you ask the judge. You see what I'm doing? I'm determining what it is going to happen in the room. And I have to do that all the time, right? And it says, move the group discussion forward by focusing on the lesson of the day. And remind you, at the 10 minutes before the ending of each group, you, the facilitator, should say something like, okay, we only have 10 minutes left. Is there one or two people who would like to summarize what it is that we covered in this session? Okay, they do that. And then you, the facilitator, say, okay, for our next sessions, we're going to be on this particular page, and this is what we're going to focus on. So now what you got is continuity between sessions. So it's like everything is focused. You don't have any problems in anger management group. If I heard of a group that had a problem and they worked for me, I fire the facilitator. That's the first thing I would do is I want to get rid of the facilitator. That's the problem. It's not the group member. If they follow the structure as a design, there's not going to be a problem. Unless assuming that it is, you should address it. So let me ask this very, very hard question. And it's covered here also. In this particular book, let's see if I can find it. I will.
Okay.
Just for a minute. Let's take a minute because it's a lot of good stuff that I want to share. I can't find it quick enough, but I'll explain it anyway.
Wait,
At
if you
the
could
beginning,
if you could give me the word or title, I'll search and I'll let you know which page.
okay, what I'm trying to find is, it isn't everyone who is suitable for an anger management group. And so there's a section someplace that focuses on clients who cannot benefit from an anger management class. And so there's a list of psychopathology. Oh, I got it. It's on page number 11.
Okay.
It says, we'll start on page number 10. Composition of groups. The most desirable group is one composed of balances of personality types. In a group made up entirely acting out aggressive persons, it will be difficult to conduct much work. Conversely, if most of the participants are depressed, they may lack the energy to engage. Therefore, it is essential, as much as possible, groups be composed of diverse participants who bring different views, strengths, and observations to the group. Given the fact that these are not treatment or psychotherapy groups, persons suffering from severe psychopathology are not appropriate for this type of intervention. Okay? Don't try it. No. They can't be in this group. The following categories of clients should be excluded from outpatient anger management groups. Paranoid clients. That's a diagnostic category. The paranoid client is suspicious constantly of something. It could be 1,000 different things. Doesn't matter. Can't be in your group. Extremely narcissistic clients. That's our brother O.J. Simpson and former president, whatever his name is, Trump. They can't make it. You would never have them in a group. Won't work. Hypochondriacal clients. There's something physically wrong with them, in their opinion, all the time. Suicidal clients, brain damage clients, psychotic or sociopathic clients, actively using alcoholics or drug addicts. And so listen to this story. About 5 years ago, a guy who I had trained had an anger management group, I believe, in Santa Monica, but he also had one in Gardena. So I don't know which one it was. And so that a father called and he says, I have a 21-year-old son, and he's been ordered by the court to attend an anger management class, but he's suffering from schizophrenia. I want someone to answer this question, Diane. Should he be screened for an anger management group if he's suffering from schizophrenia?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. What gift do you want me to give you? I got lots of books.
Why not? Why not?
I
Please
want all
explain.
the books.
Because he's crazy, and it's not a group for therapy. You're
Oh,
not,
okay,
you're
okay, I
not
got
trained
you,
by
got
me
you.
as a therapist.
Right. I thought you were saying he could go to the group. Because I was thinking, no, they shouldn't be in a group. Okay, okay. I got you. I
But let
understand now.
me go a step further on this. Just because the judge ordered him to be in an anger management group, the judge did not order you to place him in your group.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what the judge say. Don't accept him. And if you have a person in the group and you discover that he's crazy, don't accept him. You get
Okay.
rid of him. So my
Mhm.
sister, who at that point was like 82 years old, and she used to use a church. It's called Inglewood Baptist Church. The pastor let her use a room in the Sunday school for free, and she did that for years. And so one day she called me and she said, look, on Saturday, would you come over to my group? She says, there's one guy who periodically just starts talking and it's not related to anything. It looked like he can't control himself. And everyone in the group looks at him and it's really scary. And I said, sure. So I came over and she introduced me, and they knew who I am because my photographs on all our stuff. And so I sat, and then the guy did it. He started just talking. And so I asked him to come with me. He and I went to another room. And so I said, do you use drugs, alcohol? And he says, no. I said, did you used to use drugs, alcohol? And he said, yes. I said, do you find yourself sometimes talking and you can't control it? And he said, yeah. I said, guess what? You don't have to come again. I'm going to have my sister send a letter to the judge and tell the judge, this is not an appropriate group for you. Was that negative? No, I didn't say
Not
you're
at
not
all.
appropriate for the group. I said, this group is not appropriate for you. And so I drafted the letter for my sister, but this is what the judges said to me. Anderson, we are trained as attorneys, not mental health professionals. If you're going to kick a person out of a group or refuse to accept a person, tell us what to do. And so that in my little note, less than 2 lines, I said, this defendant appears to be suffering from an organic brain disorder. I respectfully recommend that he is referred to Los Angeles County Department of Mental Health, and that the court is guided by the recommendation of the attending physician. Diane, did I do something right?
Yes.
I
Is it
agree.
clear to the judge what to do? Did I tell the judge what to do?
Yeah, you
Yes.
just made a recommendation.
Well, that's what I did. I gave him a recommendation. What the judge says, that's what they want me to do. Don't just kick the person out. Tell me what to do next.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what I do. A group that I was leading on the west side, and this young guy was from he lived, I guess, in Westwood, and he had attended Colgate University, which is an Ivy League school from the East. And he was back at home. I said, I wonder why. And so that I said, what happened? You left Colgate? And he says that it was recommended by the university physician. And when I talked to him privately, he says because he was suffering from some emotional problems. And I said, oh, okay. And so that I said to him, do you have the medication that you're taking? I didn't ask him, are you on medication? I asked him, what's the medication you're on? He told me. I said, well, look, I said, let's you and I call your mom. We called his mom, and I said the same thing. I said, I'm sending a letter to the judge and telling the judge that this is not an appropriate group for your son. As a matter of fact, I don't believe that he should be in any type of group at all. And I said, so I think that I'm going to recommend that the court have you take him yet again to the psychiatrist and let the psychiatrist tell you what, if anything, needs to be done. I don't think that he's going to recommend that he's in any type of group. You see what I did? I want to be useful. I don't want to be hurtful, but don't want anybody in your group who is not appropriate for the group. And so the title of the thing was, the following categories of clients should be excluded from outpatient anger management groups. Now I need your help. What should I do? Or what more do you want me to cover? Any of you?
Diane, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so
I'm sorry.
uh,
What was the question?
is that?
What was the question?
Oh, no, I just wanted some feedback as to what else you would like for me to focus, anybody, but that's okay. We have lots of information. There's never a moment in which I wouldn't have something to say if given a chance. And so that what I'm going to tell you some other things that I've discovered along the way that any of you may find interesting and useful. And that is, we have what's on page number 14 at the bottom, single and multiple couples groups. And so I was leading a group one day, and it was a guy who was a businessman. Well, let's put it this way. He was a businessman, but in fact, what he did is that he owned a landscaping company, and he had gotten in trouble in Beverly Hills because he got in an argument with a policeman related to his one of his work person's truck was parked blocking a lane on a street in which he was picking up whatever it is that they were trying to haul away. And so he got in an argument and got in trouble. In any case, he says to me, this class is so good, there should be people lined up around the clock. And he says to me, have you ever thought about giving making it possible for people to give gift certificates to an anger management class? And so I asked you, have you guys ever heard of anyone buying a gift certificate to go to anger management or giving one? Anybody?
No.
No.
You think it'd be a good idea?
Yes.
I do too. And I did it. And so my wife, we live in Brentwood. So my wife was at the market, and a friend of hers who we knew on the other side of the thing, she said, Nancy, I bought my husband a gift certificate for Joyce's anger management class. So that was one thing. The next thing is I'm leading this gift certificate class. I saw that there was one Catholic priest. And so when we got to the Catholic priest, he's introducing himself. he says, somebody from my congregation thought that I needed anger management and gave me a gift certificate to this class. I'm gonna try that again. If you guys want to make some money, start now planning your gift certificate.
I
class.
like that. I like that. I think I'm gonna use that.
Not only that, I guarantee you get a lot of coverage on the news because everyone thought it was the funniest thing in the world. So if you call the newspaper and said, you know, and so that one of the most interesting one that I got was a woman from Beverly Hills. And Neiman Marcus is in Beverly Hills, right? The superstore. And so the line at Christmas time was very, very long. And so one lady got out of line and went near the front and said to another lady, you should be next. This other person was next. You was next. In other words, she wasn't even dealing with her own business, right? So the lady who she was trying to help says, you don't need to help me. You take care of your own business. So she thought, well, she said, I was trying to be friendly. So somehow she saw the lady in the parking lot. This is the lady who tried to befriend the lady who didn't want to be befriended. She keyed the lady's Mercedes with a key. And the lady then called the police, left the car right where it was in the parking lot. Beverly Hills policeman came out. She insisted that they photograph the scratch, right? And she filed against her in court. And the scratch, the lady said, this is a Mercedes. And I don't want them to fix the scratch because the car will have to be totally painted because it may fade. And she said, I don't want that, not on a Mercedes. They paid $6,000 for the car to be totally painted. All the, everything had to be taken off and they had to paint the whole car just as if it was a brand new car, is the way they did it. But again, that was one of the people who were in my volunteer class. And so you can be creative. None of us know all the answers. And so again, now we only have 20 minutes or so. I don't want to talk all the time. I want somebody else to talk and ask me some hard questions. So Raj, can you encourage them to ask me some hard questions?
I guess probably Diane or Donna would have the same question as in how do we complete the certification and how do we show our authority as a certified anger management consultant?
That's tomorrow. Look at the outline. That's when we talk tomorrow about how to establish and maintain private practice. So I don't want to go that far today, but I'll spend as much time as you want on that tomorrow.
Okay.
And so that just mentioning in passing is that you really do have to have a website. And so that anyone who's trying to do any kind of business without a website is making a huge mistake. And the second thing is that social media is really powerful now. They didn't have social media when I started. And so the whole world has changed. And so that you need, in addition to a website, you need to take advantage of free, powerful social media. And so that there are a lot of people, and my website is being redone right now. And so the person who's doing it asked, which of the social media channels that I belong to. And I says, for me, I only belong to LinkedIn. And she says, why? And I can tell you why, but I'd be interested in knowing what Raj has to say about this. In my opinion, Facebook is mostly for friends and relatives. It's not really that many professionals, I think, who are on social media. Am I correct or not?
Yeah, that's right.
Correct.
The other thing which you can also do, George, is like, it wouldn't be the hardest question, but this entire modules of over a decade or 2 decades of experience, they should be put into social media anger or anger through social media, or most of the anger can be seen, just like the domestic violence in homes. There's lots of anger in the comments on people who are not aware of their own emotions.
That's right. And so that I include all of that on LinkedIn. by selecting groups that it may appeal to. For example, I belong to 2 or 3 groups. One is called SHRM, Society for, I've forgotten what it's called, Society for something, but it's basically like a human resource organization.
Okay.
And one of the reasons is that they had featured me in an article many years ago, and the title of the article was something like, "When It's Time for Anger Management." And so I'm active on that because they also make referrals for anger management all the time. And of course, I belong to just HR, and I belong to programs in psychology and social work counseling and so on. But the social media one that I belong to, social media period, is a social media one that's the title, but LinkedIn. And I think LinkedIn is by far the largest. This SHRM it just says SHRM. And then it says talent development and so on. But in any case, my suggestion is that once you join LinkedIn, you began either writing questions. You can write questions and ask people in various groups whatever you want and have them respond. You can, and I encourage you to make comments on others, because if you, for example, comment on posts that I make, knowing in advance they're going to be about the work that I do, which would be the work that I do for physicians, training others, and so on. Then when I see something that you post, I will make a comment on your post, but in addition to that, I may share your post. Would you explain what that means, Raj, when you're sharing a post from someone else and the impact, how that makes a difference?
Yeah, so the algorithm works in such a way that you get to reach more people when we engage, either posting or sharing. Normally, most of us feel shy to publish something or to comment on other people's posts because we don't see that behavior on our posts. So what we do is we replicate the same behavior as in nobody had commented or nobody had posted or nobody had shown that behavior through whatever we publish. So the algorithm works in such a way that you engage, you put in the quality content out there, and without plugging in the credit card, LinkedIn gives you that leverage of you reaching more people. It's indirectly marketing. This is the same thing as in, let me see if I can get a bigger image of this. So I'm just trying to filtrate it with high quality ones. So do we still have time, George? Like, do we still have?
Yeah, go
10
ahead.
minutes?
Go ahead. No, I appreciate what you're doing. Go ahead.
So the algorithm works in such a way that it's only playing with the human behavior. I'm trying to see if I can get you the high quality image. Okay, this is. Okay, sorry, this is taxation. Yeah, I'll read this one.
Excuse me, George.
Yes.
This is Diane. I'm gonna have to jump off in a couple of minutes because I have another meeting.
Yeah, no problem.
That's free. Okay. I just want to let you know.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Okay, so Raj is going to send the announcement as we end this one for tomorrow, and so it'll go the same way. And I appreciate your input. And anyone else have anything else to say? You can leave whenever you want.
I'm gonna
So,
say thank you. I have a class to domestic violence. I gotta jump off to 6
okay,
o'clock.
so let's go ahead and close now then. So Raj, you want to make any comments or instructions?
Yeah, I would say that Lisa, Diane, or Donna, you can be the best anger management facilitators probably by the end of tomorrow. If you start
Yeah.
work on the execution mode as to whatever we learn, as we share it with others, you get to remember it for longer duration, which we all know. So
Right.
the best way to remember is to share the knowledge with others. So as of now, thank you so much for your valuable time.
I have one question too. Sorry. Mm,
Yeah.
I was getting off, but I have a question. So what if you do come across a person that gets angry in your class? It's just going by your rules. If they disrupt whatever, you let them go. But what if they were court ordered
It doesn't matter
to
whether
your
they're
class?
court-ordered, because
They broke the rules.
you have to inform whoever referred the person. So if it came from a court, the judge doesn't technically make the referral. All they do is give them a list and say, you must select one of these programs and return to court 21 working days and share proof of enrollment. So that's not a referral, because you go everywhere
Okay.
you want. They don't know where you're going. But if
But I would-
you feel appropriate as a person is appropriate, you kick them off, and so you don't get involved in anything. It's just that in order to do it in a nice way, I'll give you an example. When I got rid of the guy from Colgate, it's because I asked him a question, and his answering the question let me know right away that he was really crazy. So what I did is, hey guys, I said, hold on a second. I says, I'm going to let you guys leave early. I says, because I'm going to help John out. And so I ended the class. So that means that he and I were there alone. And that means that I'm treating him with respect because he has privacy. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
And so then I said, look, I need to call your mom because this is not an appropriate group for you and you're not going to have to come back. But I'm not going to do that in the group. I don't have to do that because nothing is more important than doing it right. So that's the answer to your question. Yes, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you, everybody.
See y'all tomorrow.
Thank you,
Okay.
Lisa. That was a wonderful question. See you tomorrow.
Thank
Okay,
you.
stay
Bye-bye.
back for a minute, Raj.
Yeah, I'll stay in here. So we do have Donna.
And so, or do we have Donna?
Yeah, we still have Donna. Donna, do you have any more questions? Okay, she says, thank you. See you
Okay,
tomorrow.
okay.
She says no.
And so I really, really appreciate your involvement. And this is what I would like to do. One, which will make you happy and your little girl, is that I need you to send me an invoice because the bookkeeper is not happy. We need an invoice for whatever has happened in the past and an invoice for this, because there's no way that I can write it on my taxes.
Okay,
Right.
I'll just pause or stop the